Let me see, can y'all see that? Yeah. So it's Sunday. So take it today as a day where we can shed some light on some things, right? If y'all know me, y'all know that I don't hold any punches, particularly. All right. Uh, so as a Muslim, as a Sufi Muslim, I have taken notice of the misguidance out in the Moorish American community. And I'm receiving a little backlash here from these misdirected people who think that they're Moorish Americans. I'm talking specifically about those people who believe that this belongs to just one group of people, right? Talk about those people who say, hey, this is only for the Moors, right? As if there aren't Turks who wear it, right? As a matter of fact, here, you see a lot of Turks don't have the black fez, but they'll have fezzes nonetheless. So I'm going to be speaking about these off-brand Moorish Americans, and who are there many of them, right? I'm being slandered on social media right now on Facebook, all because I presented some information to these people who claim that they are Moorish American, yet do not have the character of Moorish Americans. They may think that they look like Moors, but they do not follow the teachings verbatim, right? They don't follow the teachings of Drew Ali, right? So much so that again, Noble Drew Ali was known as saying that you cannot tell the nationality or the standard of the man or the character of a man by what he looks like, but by what is inside, right? And yet we have these people out here who say, oh, it's, I'm Moorish American or I'm a Moor, and them people aren't Moors, like, because of what people look like. So I'm going to go over that, right? Damn, I know my son will be upset. Sergeant, Mufti, come here, baby. Two things. Take this with you, and would you? Good fucking cat, sir. And would you bring me the other one again? Thank you, sir. Did you make yourself some breakfast? Yeah, if you wrap that bag up, take it out and shit or whatever. Yeah, bro. It's because there's a lot of food in there, They hungry and shit. Thanks, sir. All right. And of course, I'm not really all concerned about TikTok. this will be posted on the YouTube channel. Yeah, so I'm gonna go over these. I'm gonna let it flow too. I'm not really gonna. Well, how about we just gonna see how the universe flows through me with this information. That's what we want. Hey G, did somebody come to the house? G, is somebody out front? Oh, right. Okay. All right, I'm back. All right. So, in case you're not aware, I am a Moorish American. However, I am not a member of any organization today that goes under the Moorish anything, right? Oh, yeah. I have been studying the Moorish concept of Islam since about 2012. I've been studying Islam in all of its concepts since 2001. My Islamic foundation is what allows for me to be able to point out misinformation about Islam, as well as it allows for me to be able to identify the foundation of Islam within Drew Ali's teachings as a Sufi Muslim, as opposed or in contrast to, not necessarily opposed, but in distinction to, or in distinction from mainstream Islam. These people today who have been called blacks, Negroes, and coloreds, who have received the information that they are not blacks, Negroes, and coloreds, are still acting like blacks, Negroes, and coloreds, whether they be in any public or private organization structure. These people are being misled, right? Hold on, I'm trying to get something together and I get right to you there. But yeah, it's rather unfortunate to see these group of Americans still, though they may not be claiming the names, they are still claiming the principles or behaving principally unconstitutionally. You know, for whatever reason, these motherfuckers they don't know how to read, yo. Their reading comprehension is low. As much as they go around attempting to be scholarly like, right? Imitating those who've come before them who know that they themselves are ignorant, as much as they go around trying to imitate these people, they sound just as fucking retarded and ignorant as the group of people that they claim they don't aspire to be, right? So let's start here first with these Indian Moors. These Indian Moors. I'm naming names today, and that's perfectly fine. Uh, I have to name names because you know I need to identify those who I know for a fact, uh, those who I know in truth, whether they do it deliberately or not, are in fact misleading and misled and or misleading. Period. So we have these. Uh, what? Oh, shit! I don't even know where to start. I don't know. So hold on. Here we go. So, all right, I'll go there next if I can remember. But so we have these so-called Indian Moors. All right, and by Indian I mean American Indian. All right. We have Ninti El Bay. We have Empress. Fuck that. We have the Verdiasi, El Bay. Those are the two most notable Indian tribal conceptual Moors that I'm aware of that have done something or who has made their name or whatever the case may be in this organization, right? Ninti El Bay. Ninti El Bay. Beautiful sister, by the way. She's beautiful to look at. At least to me, but whatever. Don't mean shit, right? So Ninti El Bay is teaching that the Moorish Americans uh oh, my bad. One more. One more. Raz Mariah. All of these, by the way, are AKAs, and they're not the actual names given to them at birth, but hey, do business as you feel you need to. Ninti El Bay, Veriasi Bay, and Raz Mariah V Bay all are presenting this Moorish movement to these uneducated people in a manner that suits this ideology that we are somehow the American Indians. Right? Now, all three of these women claim that they are presenting, that they all try to go back to duality. Now, I never got an opportunity to really hear this sister out So I don't know if she's ever. I know she made the claim of being of lineage to Drew, but what was I getting at? Well, I lost that train. That's how it'll come back. Both of these people, NTF Bay and Rasmarai Bay, they attribute their teachings to Drew. That's what I don't know if she did, but these two definitely try in some way, shape, fashion, or form to intermix their foreign doctrine with Drew Ali's doctrine. Drew Ali's doctrine, to our understanding in the Moorish community, being the status quo of how Moorish Americans as a diaspora are presented, right? Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for real quick. But they all present this concept of which, again, we're American Indians. Did son take that upstairs, maybe? Putting on my funny hats, you know what I mean? Gotta keep a funny hat, yo. Silly hat. It's not up here. Oh, there it is. So all of American Indian, my bad, not Indian. Right. Here is the issue that presents itself, right? When trying or attempting to connect this American Indian assertion to the Moors, and then even so much more, trying to connect it to Drew Ali. First and foremost, some reading, right? And I wish to spare you all the reading, but what I will do is I will show you, I'll give you somewhere to look, right? So, the Holy Quran of the MSDA chapter 47, right? This teaches about it teaches about Egypt being the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa, right? And what it basically does is it goes through genealogy, right? And it goes through land rights and hereditaments, right? It teaches that Cush and Ham both came out of the land of Canaan, or the land of Canaan, or Canaan, whatever, right? Now, the land of Canaan, or the land of Canaan, all right, putting all that up. The land of Canaan that it's speaking about is in an area that we call today the Middle East. Okay? And it teaches that Cush and Ham, being the father and the son, right? The son and the father, they both came out of the Middle East, of Asia, right? So they're Asiatics, along with all of the other brothers and sisters in that area. And that a portion went west in Africa, and another portion went east into Asia. Okay? All right. So then it tells us about how one of these it was the Moabites. Now remember, the land of Moab is in Asia; it's not in Africa, right? It is in the Middle East, right? It says that the people of the land of Moab, along with the Hittites and other Canaanite brothers and sisters, they went all across North Africa, right, settling lands there, and that they even came over here to the Americas, all right. They came over from Africa to the Americas, right, and they began colonizing over there as well, right? Cool. The first question is, who did they colonize? Right? Did they colonize themselves? No. Right? So they brought Islam, but they brought these concepts that would later be Islam through America, right? There's a lot of ancient, there's a lot of statues, there's a lot of evidence that suggests that whatever Islam may have been here in the Americas, right? And it says that other people came, get lost here. I don't want to get lost here. These Moabites come to America, in these other lands, they establish themselves, kingdoms, whatever. You know what I mean? They established the empire of Egypt in America. Some of y'all may be aware of that information, or Islam too, right? Some of you may be aware of that, some of you may not, right? But the old Mecca, which is like Mecca, now we have the old Meccan people. You know, of course, they wore turban, they wore fez, you know, and I see the American Indian equivalents, right, throughout history. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that. So, damn, man, I hate when you come out. I always fucking spider and shit. So these three sisters are teaching that we were already here, right? Now, if we were already here, who was it that we taught? We taught the people that came later? No. We are the Moorish Americans, who are the ancient Moroccans and who are the antiquity Middle Easterners, right? Are the mothers and fathers of civilization, of colonization. Okay, that is our claim to fame, if you will. Right. So if we came over here and we civilized some people, then there is no way that we could have been the people we civilized. Because according to chapter 47, we already got permission from the pharaohs to go and settle these lands, put the stuff up, make these things, as they are to be. American Indians, right? American Indians, their claim is that there has never been a time, or that they cannot remember a time in which their ancestors may have crossed over here and come here. Right? My bad, y'all. I'm watching my home. I'm watching my spider buddy. Where's my lighter, though? Where is my lighter, though? Hey, we'll do it this way. I literally just had my lighter, too. Where you at? You done already made it to the floor, huh? Well, whatever. Anyway. Yeah, this is just doing too much for me. All right, so where was that at? The Native Americans, the American Indians. The American Indians say that they don't. There's not a time in which they themselves can remember where they've come from. So, to the best of their knowledge, they've always been here. Moorish Americans do not have that same concept. Moorish Americans, right, the Muslims of America, if you really understand the concept, but the Moorish Americans, we came from the Middle East through Africa to America. We remember a time when we were not here. There was a time when not only were we not here in America, we were in Morocco. That's where you get this concept of America being Morocco. America is not. It is not Morocco in the sense of it being political. America does share linguistic concepts with Morocco. Again, in as much as this land being named America by the Moorish in this concept means creditor peoples. Anywho, nowhere in this information are Moorish Americans told that they are peace awareness. Nowhere in this literature are Moorish Americans given the concept or the idea that we were the American Indians. As a matter of fact, there you go. As a matter of fact, the Moorish Americans are known to have found themselves new homes, have formed themselves new kingdoms. So this wasn't always home. Moorish Americans, the Moroccan Empire, those who were a part of it, whether they were dark skinned, pale skinned, or in between, they came here. We came here. We were not always here. Another concept to keep in mind with the Moorish Americans is that, according to according to the Circle 7. No, let's see. That was my own. I ain't hold on to that. But where else can we go? You know what? Let's just get to the meat, right? Moorish Americans as American Indians, right? And y'all see me doing that, right? There is a narration. Isnad. There is Isnad, which tells of Drew Ali and Kirkman Bey attending a Pan American conference. Okay, and in that information, in that narration, all right, I can show it to you. In that narration, right, it is taught to the Moorish Americans, right, that in 1928, Drew Ali went to the Pan American Conference, MSC Kirkland Bay. Right, now hold on for emphasis, right, just to show the people that I'll give you the same sources that I had. That way, you all can go back and check it if you wish, and, see if what I'm presenting is verifiable evidence or if it's something that was conjured up by me or anybody else or whatever the case may be. Hold on. There we go. This is a ship manifest. Okay. What was this date? on this day, particularly, a list of United States citizens, by the way, because that's another thing that I wish to talk about. Drew Ali told us that we are national citizens, and that we do not fall under the 14th Amendment, and the Indians don't fall under the 14th Amendment, so those aren't us. Again, but anywho, Drew Ali says we're U.S. citizens, and then he shows that he's a citizen. Anywho, this is January 25th, 1928, on the SS Northland. Okay, the SS Northland is the name of the ship. And it arrived at Key West, Florida. All right. It says that it sailed from Havana, Cuba, so it left Cuba, and it arrived Key West, Florida. All right. Let me show y'all. Yeah, let me show y'all. All right. Some things highlighted for you. I haven't even really spoken about all the other things that come up. Right, but we'll get to that. Anyway. So in reference to pardon me. In reference that was in reference to this narration, right? This narration says, on the authority of Brother Aqua Bay, no, it doesn't even tell you whose authority. But it says that Brother Aqua Bay told two people, Brother R. Lovell and Brother C. Tyson Bay, about the time when the Prophet Drew Ali and Brother Kirkman Bay went to the Pan American Conference in 1928. Okay. It says, at that time, the Holy Prophet went there and represented the Moors. Dark green. Y'all see that? Drew Ali and Brother C. Kirkman Bay went to the Pan American Conference in 1928. At that time, the Holy Prophet went there and represented the Moors. Now, what's it say next? And there was a what? There was an Indian chief representing the American Indians. So, let's write this on the board. Pan American Conference. All right, and I suggest that you all, again, who are willing to do the research, go back, just, even if it's a simple Google search, what is the purpose of the Pan American Conference? That's all. Not whether Drew Ali went or not, right? What goes down at these Pan American conferences, right? I want you to be able to answer that question, right? So that you understand why Drew Ali went there. Okay? But it says that he went to the American conference and that Drew Ali represents the Moors. Okay? That's what it says. And then it says that an Indian chief represents American Indians. Amerindian. We'll just put it that way. Okay? So Drew Ali represents the Moors at the Pan American Conference. and that an Indian chief represented the American Indians at the Pan American Conference. So when people like Nancy Elbe, the one they call Variasi Elbe, and even Rasmaria Vibe, and all of the people who circulate through those informations, right? Whenever they tell you you're American Indian or you're an Indian this or you're a Native American, they forget. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they haven't read. I don't know. But they don't recall that an Indian chief at this Pan American Conference already represented a group of American people as American Indians. And Drew Ali was not the one representing it. He wasn't the one representing it. Right? Not only that, but Drew Ali represented the Moors. You've got all these people telling you, oh, yeah, you know what? The Moors have always been here in America, yada, 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 right? Drew Ali tells you, he shows you history that shows that the Moors sojourned, they traveled. They went to find new homes. So America was not always the home of the Moors, right? And I'm bringing this up in connection with the national origin / ethnicity and race identification concept, right? This is the SF 181 form, right? This is not a debate there. Anyway, it says here on this list that, and these are racial classes, right? Racial categories. That an American Indian, a person in any of the original peoples of North, Central, and South America who maintain tribal affiliation or community attachment. Okay? The Indian chief, representing American Indians, people having origins in America. Their origin is nowhere else. Okay? And then it says that the Moors, Drew Ali told us that the Moors were the Middle Easterners who, instead of going into Asia, right, per se, came into Africa through Egypt and started settling themselves kingdoms, right? White is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. So again, Drew Ali represents the people who came to these lands. Right? He's not representing the people claiming that this is the only land they've ever known. All right. Drew Ali also told you you're not black. Well, if you're not black, what can you be? The ignorance refuse to see white as the contrast and would rather be American Indian, even though there's already American Indian people here. Right? They've even had I think it was in 1855. They had a political party called the Know Nothing Party, which identified the Indian people as Native Americans and whatnot, right? So I would imagine that these people were at the Pan American Conference too, and that whoever that Indian chief was made mention was most likely someone elected from that board. Anyway, Moorish Americans are told that they traveled, came to America. That first we came to North Africa. Then we came to America. So there are estates, there are living people who have come to other lands. Okay? We colonized. That's what we did, right? Close quarter close quarter living, colonizing. Right? All right. So, getting back real quick to the three women that I made mention of, particularly Raz Mariah Bay of RV Bay. She utilizes the term American Indian. No, excuse me. Native American. Mind you, Native American was not a classification until 1855, right? And this is you again. Do your research. Do your research on Native American, right? They try to coin the phrase Aboriginal Native American. But Native American is not the forefront classification or definition. It's not the proper identity of, again, any people. According to America, these people are American Indians, not Native Americans. All right. So calling an American Indian a Native American is like calling a Moorish American or a North African Moor. Yeah, it's like calling a Moorish American a Black American. They may accept it, but it really ain't nothing to fuck with. Right? Same concept. Anywho, so you have her teaching that we're Aboriginal Native Americans. Native Americans is a subclassification for American Indians, right? And so what they are attempting to do is they're saying, hey, you know what? We are from the Moors and the American Indians as one. There's nothing wrong with that. But when saying that there are other people who are not a part of this diaspora, we're saying that your skin color or your skin complexion, that's what we're really getting at, determines where you're from, where you're at. These are concepts that are boldly and outright against what Drew Ali, the founding father of the reuniting of the Moorish diaspora, right? Drew Ali does not teach, or did not teach, does not teach, because he's still teaching. Well, Ali is teaching, regardless. But the concept of skin complexion equating to national identity, right, or national origin, this is a Spaniard's concept. This is a concept that comes from the Yemenis and Saudi, well, it wasn't Saudi Arabia then, but this comes from the Middle Eastern this comes from the Middle Eastern class separating itself, dividing itself from the whole, right? There was a group of Spaniards who no longer, they did not desire to be considered Arab, right? Even though when, like I said, Yemen and all these places came in and, ruled over Spain, the blood, right? The blood of these now Spaniards mixed. They are now, if you want to do that blood thing, but they're now from they all will have the same bloodline, basically. But these particular groups of people, they did not wish to be identified as Middle Eastern, right? and mind you, listen to this when I say this. They did not wish to be qualified as Middle Easterner. And so what they did to separate themselves to be considered to be deemed European in their own mind and in their own political agenda, they began this hierarchy, right, that came about through time in which the darker you are or were, the further from Christianity and particularly the closer to Islam you were by descent, right? And the paler you were, the more Christian you were by descent. And these are concepts that are retarded, redundant, right? Outdated, but nonetheless de facto. There's the word. They're de facto. They're still in use, though they have no real meaning. So Drew Ali, where were we going with that? Yeah. So Drew Ali teaching that we went and followed after the gods of Europe, of whom we knew nothing, right, tends to lead toward this concept of when the particular group of the white race, right, the Europeans, the Middle Easterners, and the North Africans. The European nations, that's why he was calling them pale skins, because they classify themselves as pales under Christianity. The pale-skinned Europeans desire to no longer be a part of that union. All right? And so the union that was there was showing that whether you were dark-skinned, pale-skinned, or any complexion in between, regardless of that, under what we consider Islam today, right? Under this union, are we? Yet here we have Moors trying to point to Drew Ali with their concepts of, oh, because I'm a dark skin, Moor means dark skin, or because I'm a Moor, I was here before everybody, or that if you're not, again, they're playing on skin, they're playing on color, complexion rather than standard, right? But Rasmus R.V. Bay, Ninti L. Bay, the Verdiasi L. Bay, these sisters are teaching this concept that because of your skin tone, right, you are not Muslim. Which again, that's why the Moors lost their nationality in 1774, because they honored not their mothers and fathers' divine creed, and they followed after the gods of Europe, or the governing concepts of Europe, who, like I just made mention of, and you'll find in your own research, started dealing with color, right? They dishonored, just like, anyway, these Moors following after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing, these concepts, is what brought them to their ignorance. Now, this whole black versus white, North African versus European, and then Moor versus pale skin. These concepts are not a part of Islam. These concepts are not presented in any of Drew Ali's work, his personal work, right? And again, oh, you're not dark enough, so you're not a Moor, or you're not dark enough, so you can't be Native American. You can't be American Indian. Like, again, these are concepts that came as a disuniting front. It was meant to divide and conquer. How about that? Right? There are Moorish Americans out here who believe they're American Indian, believe that they're Native American, right? And believe that to be an American Indian or to be a Native American, you must be a Moor. Or you must be a dark-skinned Moor. You must be a dark. They're saying that innately it's all dark skin. Again, that's not the concept in Islam. That's not the concept in Drew Ali's information. Drew Ali he told these dark-skinned people, came to y'all niggas first because y'all niggas needed it the most. That's what he told niggas. And I'm calling them niggas because they're niggas. Debating Native American identity. Join the discussion. Oh, it keeps. Oh, no, we're not debating anything. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, but anywho. Drew Ali made a statement. He told his Moors that if you try to identify a man's nationality by what he looks like, you're already twice burnt up. This is a narration from oral statements, prophecies, the Sunnah of Drew Ali, right? Sunnah, and I'm going to keep it as Islamically foundational as possible to show, to show the universality, right, of the concept. Narrations, the oral statements and prophecies that are out there that are supposedly phrases, behaviors, whatnot, etc. Of Drew Ali. In Islam, this is a principle or this is a practice of bookkeeping or entry, keeping account. All right. So this is called isnad. All right. This is the isnad or musnad, plural, right? Of the sunnah, of the ways, right? Anyway. So Drew Ali told his Moorish Americans that it's not by your complexion, but by your national standard, your quality of character, right? That identifies you as an American, and of any nation, particular group, specific, whatever. Then there's no way that this information that these three sisters that I've just been speaking about, there's no way that information, their information, could be right along with what he said. All right. Let's see. Are Moorish Americans Masons? No, we're not Masons. We are scientists. We're supposed to be observers. That's the whole, to observe but not absorb, right? And this is again a quality for all people. So all people in this concept of Moorish, right? All people are Moorish American, from America, right? Because Moorish just means conceptually, it just means the thought, the initial thought, the primal thought, the source, right, of the truth. So all Moorish Americans are supposed to be perfected man or love divine, right? And all Americans are supposed to be that regardless. If you're familiar with Islamic principles, this is the same concept that follows in Islam, where it says that there is love to Allah and the Ummah, right? That we are to honor, that all are born Muslim. There you go. All are born Muslim under Islam, right? The word Muslim has a meaning, and according to Islam, all things, not even just human beings, are born in that with that character, that quality, right? So, I need a cigarette. So, Moorish American, to be Moorish, period. It means to be human. Universally, the word Moor just means humanity. It means love. It means all of these primal or primary concepts applicable to human evolution. Right? Drew Ali talked a lot about the character making the man and the nation. You know, and my character, you cannot tell my character. I cannot tell anyone's true character by the look of their skin. I can tell by the clothes you wear. I can tell by the things you say or do not say. I can tell by what you choose to present to me, but I cannot innately say, hey, he's a Muslim because he's dark skinned, or he's an Italian, he's a Sicilian because he tans a little bit, or that he's Italian and he got them, that hair comes from the more. Like, I can't tell you what a motherfucker look like. I can't tell you what someone is based on what they look like. That phenotype shit, that whole haplogroup stuff, that's pseudo. That is pseudoscience, according to all forms of Islam. Keep it a being with you. But to be Moorish American means all of humanity. All of humanity. So all of humanity. Moorish American, everyone in America. I'm glad I looked. Hold on, y'all. Here we go. Missed it. Oh. Here we go. All right. Ooh. All Americans can be within this paradigm be recognized as Moorish American, owing their standard to the nation or the Ummah as a whole, and not necessarily, to any one country, continent, tribe. The greater, all of humanity, right, being of this Ummah, of all different variations outwardly, but of the same character innately. They are all Moors, right? In that manner, we can say, yeah, there were Moorish Americans here in the Native American community. Yeah, there are Moorish Americans in the Italian community. Yeah, there are Moorish Americans in the Jewish, the Hindu, the Buddhist, whatever communities, right? All keeping a particular standard, quality, character, law. Dare I even say policy, right? Trust law. So in that manner, the American Indian can be identified as a Moor, or a Moor can be identified as an American Indian. But not all American Indians, not all Native Americans identify with the Islamic paradigm. For more to go out here talking about we're the true Aboriginal American Native Indigenous, blah, 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 this is Africa, Northwest Africa, Morocco, all of it. For anybody to be going out there talking that's misinformation. That didn't come from this brother's information. And that does not come from Islam. That is not an Islamic concept. These are deviants, right? Now, I can say with certainty, yeah, all of these sisters show forms of Freemasonry. All right. They show forms of Freemasonry. Freemasonry is an applied science. So Freemasonry can be utilized through Islam, Christianity, or whatever the case, the structure, right? Here's where they falter. And this is coming from the Moorish American paradigm, right? You hear all of these Freemasonic, and mind you, Drew Ali studied Muhammadan Freemasonry, not Christian Freemasonry. He studied and he showed Muhammadan Freemasonry. All right, keep that in mind. The Christian Freemasonry that we learn of today has a specific, one of its is presented. One of its, they say the son of a widow. Son of a widow. Or a widow's son. Right? And so they get on the maternal aspect, right? As Christian Freemasonry does. They separate. They separate the father from the mother. Okay? So you hear a lot of those specific sisters and a lot of these brothers too, they on this shit. You know, I'm the son of a widow, I'm a widow's son, and it's my son, like mother's son. Right? That's not what Freemasonry is talking about. Right? It's not mother's son. Right? They say that the son becomes the father. So in chapter 1 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Americans Temple of America, mind you, Drew Ali is teaching a form of Mohammedan Freemasonry, Islam. It states in our Holy Quran that Allah is the husbandman. It says, so Allah, the husbandman, right, brought forth the seed of his own heart. Husbandman. So if Allah is the husbandman, of everything that is, was, and ever more to be, then who the fuck is this widow's son? Because a widow, the widow, as they're presenting it, is a wife whose husband is not there. He has transitioned, no longer there. But again, in our literature, in our religious literature, and in our spiritual literature, Allah is the husbandman. So Mohammedan Freemasonry does not go around talking about son of a widow or a widow's son. That is not Mohammedan Freemasonry. Right? Allah is in the masculine and in the feminine. It is a unity. It's Tawheed. Right? But it presents Allah as being above, as being the observer and the source of benefit. You got Moors out here talking about they sons of widows, widows' sons, and again, that concept of division, that comes from the Christian or the pale-skinned nations of Europe who no longer desired to be considered Middle Eastern and took on their own concepts into Europe, back into Europe, Spain, whatnot. All right, they've lost their father. I am going to read this. I want to I want to package this. So, yeah. Let me just read that part first. So that y'all can hear it. And then again, you can check it out. Right, I know the chapter 47. All right, chapter 1. I'm going to read it in part. So it says, the man is the thought of a law. Man is the thought of a law. All thoughts of a law are infinite. They are not measured up by time for things that are concerned with time, beginning and end. The thoughts of a law are the everlasting of the past unto the never-ending days to come. And so is man, spirit man. But man, like every other thought of the law, was but a seed that held within itself the potencies of a law, just as the seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that special plant. So spirit man, as seed of a law, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of God. Now, seed are perfect. The seed are perfect as the source from which they come. The seed, not the body. The seed, not what's outward, but what's inward, right? The child is as perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed, so man is not necessarily the child. So man, the seed, must be deep planted in a soil that he might grow and unfold, as does the bud unfold to show the flower. Listen, the human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was foreordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth his human seed into the soil of soul. The husband, Allah, the husbandman, threw forth his human seed. So where's the widow? The father's dead. According to Mohammedan Freemasonry, right? The father is there. A widow's son is one who's unprotected. Right? Yeah. All right, now I want to read chapter 47. Bring this all together, man. I know even at this particular moment, they're trying to fry me on Facebook. That's okay. So listen, right? Wrap everything that I just set up, and then you'll be able to actually look it up for yourselves on the YouTube channel, link in bio, right? Listen, this is chapter 47, Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. So Egypt already, not Morocco, y'all, right? Egypt. Egypt is the capital dominion. So all other empires receive permission from Egypt. Okay. It says the inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. So everyone who's in Africa came out of that area in the Middle East, right there by the Jordan. This is what this is saying, right? Somebody say something. Freemasonry and Islam discussed. Oh yeah, we can definitely do that. All right, it says 2. Old man Cush and his family were the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. So Cush came in, settled Egypt, right? Whatever the case may be. It says his father, Ham, and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Ameshim, the first true and divine name of Africa. Okay. The dividing of the land between the father and son. So this is coming from a time when the Atlantic Ocean itself was not an ocean. So it's coming from a time when what we call America and what we call Africa were closer together. And at that particular time, that was all considered Amexim or Ameshim. It says the dominion of Cush, Northeast and Southeast Africa. All right, so that's Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, Abyssinia, Rwanda. Damn, I was looking at all of those places the other day too. But it's dealing with everything east of Egypt in Africa, straight down. All right. It says, and his father's dominion was northwest and southwest. So Ham was from Egypt to the west. Right? Okay. It says, in later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. So it called these are brethren. There were people who came from Asia and the Holy Lands, the Middle East, and joined them. The Moabites. Now these are the Moroccans. These are the Tunisians. These are the Algerians. These are the Tripolians, etc. Right? The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. So the present Moroccan Empire is Morocco, the kingdom. Because that's the land of the Moors, the Moors that come from Ham, right? They established Morocco, Tunis. It's telling you, they established that portion. So mind you, that portion of America, of Africa, if you can conceptually see it, connecting it with America, right? It's saying that these people established the present Moroccan Empire, Julia, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. So everybody came seeking new homes. They came seeking new homes. They weren't already there. They came and they established themselves, right? As far west of Africa as Morocco, and as far east of America as, we'll say, what's that, Vermont? You know, something that's right next to the water, right? We already, there was a migration, and ultimately migration. All right. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across the Great Atlantis. So the Moroccan dominion expanded and inhabitation extended into America and Mexico and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. Speaks about the River Nile, and I actually followed the River Nile on Google Maps just to see, like, where is it at? Where does it go? And it definitely extends, the White Nile extends west, even into Nigeria, right? It said the Nile River was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt. So the ancient pharaohs of Egypt, right, had this River Nile dredged into the land. All right, it was used for transportation. It says also the Niger River, and I followed that too, was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those days, ancient days, for trade, and it extends eastward from the River Nile, right? But it also extends westward across the Great Atlantic. It too was used for trade transportation. So now we see this migration of these Middle Easterners who came into Africa, right? Who came into the West and South, all inhabited all those lands, right? Most likely was working for, on behalf of the Egyptian pharaohs, right? Dredging these things, right? In order for trade. And these things extending beyond the west coast of Africa, even into the east coast of America. All right. So it says, according to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. Right? So again, Moorish Americans are supposed to conceptually understand that we all came out the same land, regardless of what our skin tones look like. Right? We are one nation. We are many nations as one Ummah. Right? And that we are of equal status and belonging, regardless of our skin complexion. Right? It says, what your ancient forefathers were, you are today, without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers, unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. Now, before I get to the next one, Drew Ali just named North Africans and Middle Easterners and Asians. Okay? From the land of Canaan into Africa and into Asia. Right? Out of the Middle East. So he already gave us North Africa and the Middle East and other portions of Asia. Right? Now, those Europeans that I was speaking about earlier, they were the ones who desired to no longer identify as Middle Easterner, and so they took their own portion of Europe and disassociated it with North Africa, Middle East, and Asia. Right? If you are a history buff like myself, you will find that there was a Turkish European Muslim who did fight in the cause for Islam against those other pale skins who were of the concept that your skin tone made you more or less Muslim or Christian. All right. These holy and divine laws are from the prophet Drew Ali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples, and it's not. They're not. These temples there are no other Moorish Americans in the temples other than North Africans. And I'll show you in a moment that there were actually Moroccan-born subjects of paler skin Muslims who were a part of the organizing of this movement. Right? It says that they will learn to love that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it in according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet in the Grand Temple. I, the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America. Did you know that Israel is Asiatic? Edom, the Edomites are Asiatic. Those who are Jordanian, they're Asiatic. Iran, the Iraqi, they're Asiatic. Pakistan, even still, they're Asiatic. Right? So all of these people would be in this organization because they're all the descendants, right, of one Father, of one God, one Creator. All right. He says, Noble Drew Ali was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before that great and awful day that is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess its own. Now, you hear a lot of Moorish Americans out there try to use that as a dividing statement. But once you realize what chapter, what verse, and the concept that is truly being expressed, once you have that core, you see that they're not using it in the manner in which it was presented, because they're using it as a dividing factor when it is in fact saying that everybody must now come. The Moorish Americans are taught that there's only one true and divine creed. So that means that all humanity must come to it, right? According to that concept. So it's saying that everyone must now come to the truth that all are one, not the truth that, oh, well, you're this, you're that. No, you let other people do them, but you must understand that if anybody desires to come to, right, this first divine creed, they are one with the people. Listen, it says, through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery, due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. Now, mind you, the creed and principles of the forefathers of the Moorish Americans is unity. The white race, everybody, North Africans, Europeans, Middle Easterners, Asia, everyone around America in America. All right? Listen, that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the words Negro, Black, and Color were given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mothers and fathers, and straight after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. Now, remember, the European concept, right, is saying, hey, that we are not Muslim. In Islam, all are one. In Christianity, there's a pecking order. All right. So now I just wanted to show you, because I made the statement, right, and I said that there were other people in the Moorish Savannah National Movement. Particularly, I made mention of the Moroccans, right? This is a picture right here of the former guardian of Hijaz, of Mecca, right? Before the Saudi family took over. This brother right here was the ruler in that area. Okay, he was known in this movement, right, as Gavrona Ali Mustafa Abdullah, admittedly a Moroccan prince and an organizer for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Did y'all see that? And then you can research to see who he really is. Check his father. says, I am the son of King Hussein, who was exiled to the Isles of Cyprus back in 1927. Right? So that's how you can go back in time and see who is this guy. Now look at this brother. Look at the brother next to him. What does he have on? This shit. Right? This is a Moroccan. Right? A Moroccan prince who was an organizer for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. And he's standing next to another Muslim, Moor, right? With a fez on. And the 101 Quran questions for the Moorish Americans. There's a few statements that are made. Those are the oral statements. We want the 101s. The 101s come after. Yeah. Right now. There we go. All right, let me see here. All right. Couple of questions and answers. All right. We're going to start from number 52. It says, at what place was the physical part of man formed? The answer is in the Garden of Eden. So the Garden of Eden, we ain't going to get into that yet. Yes, we are. So the Garden of Eden would be in the Holy Lands. That's where we can, according to this information, we can go back to like where the Jordan is and that whole Israel, Jerusalem, Palestine, Jerusalem, that area. We can look at that area as the Garden of Eden. Okay. Damn, I could have went to that one, but whatever. All right. It says, what is the modern name for the Garden of Eden? Mecca. So Mecca. So we're going to go back to Mecca. That's the Middle East. That's in the lower portions of the Holy Lands. So this is Eden. All right. Now look at all the Saudi people. Look at all the Meccan people. All right. These are the people who, well, it says number 57. It says who were Adam and Eve? They are the mothers and fathers of the human family, Asiatics and Muslims. So Adam and Eve, right, are the blueprint for all of these people who came out of the Holy Land. Where did they go? They went into Asia. All right. All right. It says, what is the modern name given to their children? Asiatics. Right? You got Moors out here who think that to be Asiatic, you have to be this complexion. That's not what's being taught here. It says, who is guarding the holy city of Mecca today to keep the unbelievers away? I call them Asians or angels, right? Now, so he's an angel. According to Drew Ali's literature, this man right here, right? Because he was guarding the holy city of Mecca before the Saudi family came in. And then the Saudi family, they're of the same complexion as well, more or less, right? What is the shade of their skin? Olive. Are the Moorish Americans any relation to those angels? Yes, we all have the same mother and father. So again, these these morons, call them that, right? These dirty Moors, going around acting as if we are not family to people who look like this because of the skin tone. It's fucking absurd. It's a deviation, right? Because it's telling us our lessons teach us that we are all one family, regardless of what we look like. It says, give 5 names that are given to the descendants of Adam and Eve: Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. So these are names that were given to those brothers. By who? By the European nations. Oh, you like us, but you don't want to be one of us. So you're everything. You're Islam. Everything that you're about is wrong. That's the Euro-Christian pale-skin concept. Calling us, calling the descendants of Adam and Eve, or Muslims, Lucifer, Satan, the devil, dragon, and beast, right? And then I want to give another one, right? Listen, right? It says, we'll start with number 80. Did Jesus say that he would return to conquer him, meaning Satan? Yes. 81. What was the name of the person into whom Jesus was first reincarnated? It says Prophet Muhammad, the conqueror. Prophet Muhammad, the conqueror. Prophet Muhammad, the conqueror. I think it's called Erdogan Turkey. So, Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror is Mehmed the Conqueror, Mehmed the Second. Now, in our literature, as Moorish Americans, we find out that the one they called Jesus was a dark-skinned person with curly hair, right? Cool. And it says that the spirit that was in that dark-skinned individual, right, that is in all of us, reincarnated into Mehmed. Mehmed was a pale-skinned European who overthrew the Roman Empire in Europe. He was a European who stood for Islam and overthrew the pale-skinned Catholic, what was to be the Catholic Empire, Roman Empire. Peaceful greetings, Nick Hertz. What are we learning about? We're learning about the reality of Moorish Americans not being Native Americans or American Indians, and also that the teachings of this particular group, brother right here, does not treat of separation, segregation, or division due to one's skin tone. So I'm basically I am exposing Moorish deviant movements. About movements that try to say, hey, we get our information from here, but I'm showing in our reality that the information that they get, it's not his, it's not legitimately from him. And I'm also showing that he speaks to the contrary of what these noodles out here are trying to teach people came from him. Right? All right, so we get back to the question then. you'll be able to check this off as soon as I get done recording. I'm going to download it, put it on the YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel link is in the bio of my TikTok. All right, so listen. It says, Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror. 82. Was Satan to be bound then? Yes, in part. So now who was Satan? It says, was the head of Satan taken off? Yes. 1453 Byzantine. It says, by who? By Muhammad. So again, this pale-skinned Turk, Muhammad, or Mehmet, the one that Drew Ali is teaching us is an Asiatic. He's of olive skin. He's a Muslim, right? And the one who, the spirit that was in Jesus reincarnated into Mehmet. And he called Mehmet II a prophet because Mehmet II was prophesied by Muhammad of Arabia, not in name, but in principle. There was a fulfillment of prophecy in which Muhammad of Arabia said that one day the Roman Empire would fall by a great leader. You know, great is the leader and his army, right? And then if you study the story of Mehmed II, you'll see that he definitely fulfilled the prophecy, and he was out there doing a lot of things, right? So we're learning that this is the individual that Drew Ali said, Prophet Muhammad. All right. This was a pale-skinned individual, which again is showing that Noble Drew Ali's literature is not showing segregation in any manner, and that it's showing that that is a European concept that was established by Arabs who desired to be European. Deep. All right. So then he goes, name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774. Negro, black, colored, and Ethiopian. All right. So there were names given to the pale-skinned nations of Islam, which was what? Lucifer, beast, Satan. Lucifer, beast, Satan, devil. I think there's like 5 of them. Hold on. Yeah. Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. So we learned that there were Roman Europeans who labeled the pale skins as Lucifer, this, that, and the third, and labeled the darker skins maybe, right, as Negroes, blacks, and coloreds. But all of these people that were being labeled by these Europeans were Muslims. They were all Muslim. Right? Nothing. It was all outward appearances would allow for this divide and conquer hierarchy, which we see prevalent even in today's societies around the world. Right? In Islam, that's not a thing, though we may see it acted out. The core of Islam, that was never a thing. But Roman Catholicism, these Europeans who no longer desired to have the Arab culture and to mingle with the North Africans and other Middle Easterners who have darker, of a darker complexion alongside the other brothers and sisters who were pale. Anyway. In reality, what is a Negro? A Negro is a 4-legged animal. So a Negro, they basically said that these Moorish Americans were beasts of burden. All their time, their labor, their energy would not go back to themselves. Now, he taught us, hey, look, we're not beasts of burden, and we're not disconnected from the human family, and that is a concept that is not that is not it does not belong to our ancient principle. It doesn't belong to us as a people. That's not a concept or a governing. That's not a god, if you will, of antiquity. That is a new concept to think that people are crayons, right? Or that some type of religious assertion comes through what one looks like. Another thing about Drew Ali is he didn't say that everybody had to be Muslims according to this, He said that for all Muslims, all of those who identify as Muslims, this is your salvation here. All right, Drew Ali gave honors to all classes of people. Okay. Drew Ali was not out here talking about the government stole it from you. Right? Drew Ali was around right there either after what was that, World War II, one, right there whenever 1913 basically. Drew Ali was aware of what was going on in 1913. As studied as that brother seems to be, he would have been aware of what happened in 1786 with any treaties. He would have been aware of what happened in 1865 and subsequently 1875 with the overthrow of the government and the reinstitution of a new government. All right, like Drew Ali would have been aware of all of that, right? He made mention of none of that shit. Drew Ali was not out here talking about anything that relates to division. And Drew Ali, let me read that for you. Drew Ali definitely wasn't out here telling us to go back to Africa. Now I'm going to speak on those nut-ass morons that think that, so many different sects or many different groups of people use his name, right? They use his legacy. Yeah, I like that one there. They discuss his legacy, and they try to use it. They try to use it to play their own agendas. So I'm aware of these Moors who wear fezzes, turbans, all of that, right? And they're out here talking like the Moorish Americans are not true Moors, and we're supposed to be. They themselves believe that they should be connecting themselves with Africa, right? So I'm going to read to you out of the Moorish Guy newspaper an article titled "The Moorish Science Temple of America." So this is his organization. This is what he's teaching, right? And we're going to key in to his concept of whether we should deal with Africa or not, right? Mind you, in the beginning here, we spoke about Drew Ali going to the Pan American Conference, right? And I told you to look that up to see what that means, right? And what happens in the Pan American Conference. And we're going to use that concept and apply it to Africa, right? So We're going to see how Drew Ali feels about Pan-Africanism, which is what a lot of these Moors are trying to preach, even through him, right? The Moorish Temple of America was founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Aside from the fact that it is a legally organized religious corporation, it is building on human needs. To this desirable end, legitimate means will be found to dispense charity and provide for the mutual assistance of its members in times of distress, to aid in the improvement of health and encourage the ownership of better homes, to find employment for our members, and to teach those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization, such as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance and unity. So let me first point out that Drew Ali was not telling us to get away from business in America. And he was not telling us people are corporations and they're trying to take over the name. And he wasn't teaching that. That wasn't his redemption, man. Listen, he says, it is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Then he reiterates, such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned. So Drew Ali was not on any of that Back to Africa, none of that, hey, we're African American, we want to go home. Drew Ali was not teaching us that the Moors of America's home was in Morocco or anywhere in Africa. He was telling us that the Moors of America were descendants born in America. So their nationality and their citizenship is here. To be a Moorish American is the equivalent of being an Italian American. Right? Yeah. Moroccan American. That's my nationality. All right. We of the Moorish science, well, no, again, Moorish doesn't mean just Moroccan at all. And it doesn't just mean African either. We of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, so again, he's stressing American citizenship, know that we must live together here in America in harmony, friendship, and goodwill, whatever our race and creed may be. So all of this, you got to go home. You ain't from here. This is our land. None of that. None of that is coming out of his movement. It is only from a purely religious standpoint, it seems at this time, that we differ from a large number of our fellow Americans. So it was only a religious aspect. That the only difference between Moorish Americans and, let's say, an Italian American, Cuban American, whatever the case may be, is that the Moorish Americans as a whole practice Islam. We believe in and foster the Muslim religion. We believe in its principles. We believe in the principles of its teachings insofar as they can be adopted to American life. So again, Drew Ali wasn't trying to get us out of the government. He was trying to get us in. He was trying to show us that we already belong here. We belong here. We don't belong over there. We belong here. This is home. Right? We feel that the Christian religion is all right for those who prefer it. In America, religious freedom is guaranteed all under the Constitution. So he's talking about the federal Constitution. Right? He called us like other American citizens, fellow Americans, American life is what we're adopting Islam to. And he says that in America, he can't be more American than that. I mean, all American. In America, religious freedom is guaranteed all under the Constitution. We are interested in freeing ourselves and our children from the greatest plight, economic slavery. So Drew Ali is saying that through the Constitution, we can save ourselves. Drew Ali is not talking about anything that happened. He's not talking about any division that these misunderstood Moors preach through the Constitution, talking about where we were the establishers of the Constitution, and we established it for other people. No, it was established for all people. And he says, we believe this can be best done by encouraging, patronizing, and establishing our own business enterprises and cultivating our own acres of land here in America. Businesses in America, land in America. All right? We welcome into our folds men and women of our group. What is our group? The Muslims, Asiatics, and Muslims. Period. All right? All trades, occupations, and professions of sound mind and good character. We are friends and servants of humanity. So we're servants and we're friends. But the people I've been speaking about and the people you'll encounter most likely, they will come with this idea that we are better than everybody. We're not their servants, they're our servants. You know, or that we are not friendly. Right? These people are not friendly. Right? Drew Ali is saying we are friends and servants of humanity, and these noodle morons are telling you that, and again, trying to use his information, that not only are we not friends, we're not friendly out here, but that everybody got to get the fuck out so we can do our own thing here. Drew Ali was not teaching that. He says, we are dedicated to the purpose of elevating the moral, social, and economic status of our people here in America, as Americans. We have set about to do this through a wide and comprehensive program embodying the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I don't see any of these Moors doing that. All I see is the distraction. I see the fitna. I see the deviation and the distraction. All right. This man here, and the program that he brought to the people was to connect all Muslims and Asiatics, meaning you may not be Muslim, but you're still Asiatic. You're still of the North African, European, and Middle Eastern Asian Union that is associated with Islam. There are so many misguided people out here with hate in their heart, and they make Moorish Americans. They make anyone wearing the fez look like a goddamn fool. Drew Ali also made mention of that in one of his articles entitled A Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations. Drew Ali has a newspaper article where he is informing other American citizens about his particular group of Moorish Americans and begging and pleading with them to show them the true way so that they can stop acting uncivilized. So Drew Ali went to other people and was like, please help me with these niggas. And it's these same niggas that he was asking these other Americans to help that are still acting uncivilized to this day. When you go into any Moorish Science Temple of America, if you were to ever venture into any one of them, post 1929. You'll only see people who were designated as blacks, Negroes, or coloreds within the organization. You won't see any Arab Americans, Japanese Americans, English Americans, Turkish Americans, Moroccan Americans. You won't see English, Grecian. You won't see any of these people in the organization that was established for them as well. I promise y'all, Taj Tariq Bey, CM Bey, RV Bey, Canaan Lamb Moores, Ampac, Ninti El Bey, the Mound Builder Moors, the Nuwabian Moors, the Nation of Islam, the 5% Nation of Gods and Earths. Definitely the Hebrew Israelites. You won't see any of these people or groups of people attempting to connect with their fellow Americans. They don't even see themselves as equals. So again, they're full of that ignorance that they followed after, right? That their forefathers followed after in dividing humanity. Drew Ali never brought that. Let me see. What other? I mean, shit. C. Freeman L. Alim El Bey, Hakeem Bey. And I'm Asir Ducateers. There's a lot of them out there, man. Elihu, Nathaniel Pleasant Bay, Dandridge, Jones Bay, what's the other nigga's name? Broswell Bay. Like you won't hear any of you. I don't see it. You won't see any of these people who profess to be scholars in Islam and appointed, self-appointed guiders of the nation. You won't see any of these people really making an attempt to do business and offer consideration even to other Muslims. They get caught up in all of these distractions, Muslim versus Muslim, and you hear the hate, particularly when they say Moors and then pale skins, Moors and Albions. These are all these are all signals for me that show me that these people are deviants. Drew Ali never came in saying so. With a lot of these, the people that I've named, not all of them, but many of them, and many more of them, they teach that, and it's more noticeable in the Nation of Islam because they're just blatant in the ignorance. At least during the time of Elijah, they teach that the pale skin nations cannot be Muslims, or that the pale skin nations, in some way, shape, fashion, or form, are just not legitimate. That's never been Islam. That's never been an Islamic. You have a lot of these people out here attempting to unwhitewash. They'll say that reverse whitewash, if you will. They'll tell you that all of these peoples with dark skin. It's like, no, not all of them. Not all of them. Excuse me. The Moorish Americans today are in such a terrible state because they still act uncivilized. Absolutely. What is AI doing that it keeps putting that up there? But these people, they're misguided people. I'm sad. I'm saddened at their behavior, and I've become embarrassed to the point where I don't wear. I do not wish to be recognized or identified with these people who are still ignorant, like arrogant and ignorant. You know, whether they are inside temple organizations or they have their own private organizations. There's no business organizations out here. None. Right? Not enough. There's no employment coming. There is no consideration given to other brothers and sisters, other Americans, in order to do business. These niggas are still running around here with hating hard, trying to be everybody other than themselves. There are dark skinned people in all nations. Dark skin does not mean Moorish. Dark skin does not mean Moorish. Again, that is a concept that was brought about to distinguish the Arabs who desired to be Euro Christian from all of the Arabs and North Africans and whatnot who maintain their Islamic identity, whether they be, or just the universal love identity. Christianity, Roman Catholicism, particularly, is the one uh, organization or group that teaches that your dark skin is a sin. All right. Now, if that's what people believe in, then they have a right to believe in that. But they cannot, their beliefs cannot and will not be allowed to overthrow the rules and laws of the government or constitution, nor will their behavior be permitted in order to denationalize or disrespect another group of people based solely on complexion. Right? These Moors out here, I can't even call them real Moors, man. You know, shit's crazy. They don't want to be U.S. citizens. Drew Ali was a U.S. citizen. He was a citizen of the United States, and he was for the United States of America in North America. He makes these statements again in the article entitled "A Divine Warning." Drew Ali uses all three of those interchangeably, and he speaks about a constitution that was established in 1774. So if Drew Ali was talking about shit in 1774, and our nationality as Moors being lost in this motherfucking land in 1774, then he had to be aware of the 1786-87 treaty between Morocco and the United States. He would have also been aware that we were not the Moroccans in that treaty, that we would be the United States in that treaty. He would have been well aware of the adjournment sine die of the government in 1865, and then the reestablishing of a quote unquote de facto government, another shell corporation in 1780. What was it? 75. I think it was like 18. Was it 1786 is the treaty. Okay, 1865, and then 1860, supposedly there was a government shutdown, and then 10 years later, the government was established de facto. He would have been well aware of all of that stuff. He would have been well. He makes no mention of the treaty. And Drew Ali makes no mention of any treaty. Again, Drew Ali told us in his statement from the newspaper article Moorish Science Temple of America that his Moorish Americans, particularly his people, aren't even concerned about the colonizing, the Moors who did what they did in Africa. We don't look to them. We don't look to any of that. So we wouldn't be those Moors or those Moroccans in that treaty that a lot of these morons like to present as evidence that we're not American citizens. Anything you read from Drew Ali, you'll know it to be from Drew Ali if it's not teaching division. The foundation of this movement was unity, is unity, is love. Love is unity. Love is acceptance no matter what. Drew Ali, his mission was to get us to see the God in all. What's in you is in the is in all other things, like just like the Hindu culture, with the namaste and the namaskaram, right? What is in me is in you. That whole concept. Drew Ali dealt with inner wisdom. He dealt with the inner nature, and not the outward show of illusions. Let me see. I'll invite this, bro. Why not, man? That's another. Yeah.
Peace, brother. Peace.
What's good with you? Peace.
I can't call it another day, learning this decolonization process.
Well, what's that all about, beloved?
Just trying to get separated from the United States. That's all. You know what I mean? There's no other way. We can't keep, signing up and acquiescing to what they're doing to us in the middle of the street, in the court system. We're being treated unfair. We don't understand gerrymandering. When 5 American white men go vote, they're considered as 5 votes. When 5 Latinos go vote, they're considered 3. When 5 black people, so-called, vote, they're considered 1. When 5 Puerto Ricans go vote, they're considered 0 because they have no representation in the Senate nor in the White House. See, these people don't know who they are. All these people that I name, except for the first ones, right? The ones that we gave the right to be Americans. They turned around and naturalized us and gave us civil rights. So it's real serious. We have to know who we are. Never throughout history has Europeans recognized Moroccan sultans. Sultans and Moroccan states have recognized European states throughout history. So we have to understand, yes, it's a national and divine movement.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Morocco, that's North Africa, right? It's not the question, but I just want to make sure that we're on the same page, right? Morocco would be considered North Africa, right?
So that's the Kingdom of Morocco. That used to be part of the empire. Those Arabs took our flag under what's called salvage, took our empire flag and made it a kingdom flag and wrote a constitution and adopted our flag and left the empire void of a government. That's why we were able to come back and reconvene the government.
Okay. What race classification would those, as you call them, the kingdom? What race classification, would those North Africans fall under?
Those are Arabics. How do we know that? Their constitution expresses that to us.
So they would be white. So they would be white then, right?
Yeah, most definitely. They were they're the same as colonizers. They moved us out of our chairs and put themselves there. That's why they weren't able to hold it as the Sultan, because only the primogenitor, the first one born, was the only one and the only one that still can hold the chair today and never come down. That's why the Arab had to step down and write a constitution and deposit that constitution with the United Nations and become a member state.
Right. So the Moroccan
1956.
Empire, its authority is Egypt, right?
So its authority actually is Sharifian authority, which is
Well,
Moroccan.
Is the Moroccan Empire an extension of the Egyptian Empire or no?
Most definitely. Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
So that means the Sudan too, right?
Correct. Those are all
right.
the same people. Yeah.
So I would imagine you're familiar with the complexion of the Sudanese people,
Yes.
right? Very, very beautiful dark-skinned people, right?
Very beautiful. Yes.
But they too are North Africans, right?
Yes.
And so they too would have the white classification, wouldn't they?
Not really.
In America.
But they even though they speak Arab, they're really dark.
Right. Is race determined by your skin color? I'm trying to understand what you're implying. I'm just trying to get a better understanding.
No.
Okay.
It does not.
So those whites, those white Europeans, right?
That came from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
That colonized the people and just, started taking the land little by little. And, people still talk Arabic. Doesn't mean that, that they are Arabic, right? It was
Well,
just
no,
that they learned to speak Arabic.
I speak Arabic, and I know that the real basic qualification to be called an Arab is to speak Arabiya, which is different than saying you're a Saudi. That all Saudi, Saudi Arabia does not. Saudi is how can I say this? To be an Arab doesn't mean to be a Saudi. To be an Arab literally means, hey, someone who has that Arab language, depiction, culture, whatever the case may be. And I was aware that the Arab, so-called Arab, they're not all pale skins either. Just like the Sudanese are white, but they as dark as Bernie Mac, right?
Right.
That the Saudi and even the brother that they call Muhammad, right? That he was also of a darker skin complexion, and so and he's an Arab, so to speak.
Peace
right?
be upon him, the Prophet.
Naam sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Yeah, the Prophet was known as the Black Crow behind his back. That's what they would call him.
But what I'm really getting at is he would have been white too, right?
No.
So
He was dark. Everybody was dark back in the days, and after a while, they just little by little started just taking people out.
What does white mean to you?
To me, it means people from the Caucasus Mountain, from the footsteps of Russia.
So it's a skin thing to you.
Well, not really a skin thing, right?
Have you ever seen a dark Caucasian or a dark white person?
Italians? Is that what you mean? Italians, the olive skins?
No, I'm not. No, those are my peoples too.
Yeah, those are Moors. A lot of, if you look up the Pucci family in Italy, they their family coat of arms.
So then what does it mean to be a Moor?
To be Moroccan, to be dark. To know that you come from dark. To know that you come from the dark race that went to Spain, Portugal, and Europe and brought civilization.
Dark race, but not the black race, right?
Say what?
The dark race is different than the black race, right? Or no?
So yes, most definitely. You see, there's no such thing as a dark race or a black race, but there is Moroccan and there's Moors. You know what I mean? You see, they used to call us blackamoors, right? But what they did was, you know,
That was
it
after
says
the
it.
1400s. That was after we were called blackamoors at the crest of the 15th century. No,
Right, blacks are Moors. Moors are blacks, but they just knocked the Moors out and said, "You're just black," and blackened us out of law. You see, Moroccan Moors, we have what's called human treaty rights.
but
We don't
didn't
have
you
what's
just
called
say that the
civil.
Italians are Moors too? Them niggas ain't part self, but them niggas ain't too dark. They get dark.
So yeah, they get darker, but they don't recognize themselves as Moors. They recognize themselves as Italians or Sicilians,
Right.
right?
But
They
you're
don't.
telling me and the audience that more means a dark skinned people and that they just wrote that shit out and said we're black. But you just said that the Italians are Moors and they just don't recognize it. And I know that they've got,
Well, they have a little of that, you know, the Moorish
are you,
blood,
are you
right? They
Muslim?
have a drop of it.
Are you Muslim?
Okay, so it's like this, right? Like me, I have the Moorish drop of blood, right? I have the phenotype, but in my government, the only ones that hold position that hold power, right, is the darker race. We're here because we know that we are from the dark race. We're brown. We got brown eyes, brown hair, and we could put a vote in for certain legislation, for all legislation, have a voice and have a vote, but we can't do unilateral decisions, right? Because this government's not going to fall back into the hands of Europeans. That's what happened with our last government,
Are you Muslim?
right? So I used to be Christian, all right? I did my communion as a child. I did all that, right? But as I grew older, I realized that Puerto Ricans don't exist, right? Where do you hear Puerto Ricans in the Bible? You don't.
Right.
So it's like very confusing, right? Um, we're the fastest, the most handsomest race ever, right? The dark race, but yet they keep saying that we're inferior, right? Love books used
La
to say
question,
tall, dark, and
mi
handsome.
pregunta a ti es, ¿eres un Muslim o no? Are you Muslim or not, bro? That's what I asked you.
So I practice all religion,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because I'm a Gemini. I'm a seeker of truth. So as I got older,
Speaking to another Gemini, brother.
huh?
I too am a Gemini. Soy Gemini.
Right. That's why you that's why you're asking the questions that you're asking, because you're a seeker. That's what we do. We are the light of the world, the shiniest star in the sky, brother.
Do you practice
Yes.
Islam as a Moor, or does the Islam is not necessarily a Moorish concept?
So it's not necessarily a Moorish concept, but it is embedded, right? We do understand that Moroccans are the descendants of the Abrahamic. You know, our father is Abraham.
My father
We
is
know,
Muslim.
you know, we blow the shofar in remembrance of our ancestors. Al
Are
Kahina that
Moroccans
fought
are
the Arab.
Moroccans are Moroccans Muslims mainly? Is that like an Islamic state or no?
So it has. So we always have to remember that 7-Eleven, when we were there and we got kicked out 1492, Andalus was
Yeah.
the only place where Christians, Jews, and Muslims lived at peace. And that's what we're trying to bring right back around.
So you're
Right?
trying
We're
to
trying
get peace
to,
and harmony with the pale skins, just not allow them niggas to be out here acting wild, right?
correct. Our job is to charge that 12% annually and come up with legislations to protect our
You mean
people.
Dhimmi?
What they're going to do to their Americans, what they're going to do to their blacks after a while, and Puerto Ricans after a while, Latinos after a while have to understand, hold up, we're not this, and come home to here. They have the right to come home now. There's a portal, but you have to make the choice. You either remain a Moroccan subject to rules, abuse, and taxation, or you come home and the abuse stops. You're still going to
You're
get
talking
taxed.
about paying the Dhimmi and the jizya and being a Dhimmi and paying the jizya taxes. That's all
Right.
Islamic concepts. Those are Islamic concepts.
Right.
Um,
You can't.
I follow under the millet system, which is sort of kind of what you're talking about. Where a non those those who are not a part of the culture being in a land where that culture, our culture's laws are superior. It's like, hey, we'll give you protection. We'll give you citizenship, if you will, right, or nationality, whatever the case may be, in exchange for you not only accepting our ways, but paying taxes, just to show, what's the word I'm looking for here? Allegiance. There you go.
Right.
Right.
So, like, I pledge my allegiance. There's a video on YouTube where you can see where I put my hand up and a Moroccan judge returned me back home, and I put my hand on some treaties. So I acceded to the treaties.
What?
You know what I mean?
What makes you a Moroccan subject? What makes me, if like, would I be a Moroccan subject?
Yeah, of course. We are all Moroccan subjects. So anybody that signed the Treaty of the Madrid Convention of 1880 recognized themselves in Morocco, which was a lot of countries that recognized themselves in Morocco. Russia, Germany, Austria, Italy, Spain, Portugal, a couple other ones. They signed the treaty. America was one of them. Spain was one of them. Morocco was one of them, of course. The Kingdom of Morocco signed the treaty. So, we got to understand that anybody that signed that treaty recognized that. Well, okay, so let's go to the Article 15. It says any Moroccan subject that was naturalized in a foreign country. You got naturalized in the United States, which is a foreign country. I got naturalized in the United States.
Naturalized here, but I was born here.
Right. You got naturalized. You got born. They adopted you.
No, I'm not. I don't.
Your mother signed that birth certificate, right?
Evidence of my birthright citizenship.
Right.
Evidence of my state.
That's the naturalization right there. She pledged the allegiance. She said that when you grow up, you're going to be a good boy and pay them taxes.
But
you know what I mean?
But as Muslims, regardless, we pay taxes to the Islamic State, whether we're Muslims or not. What do you mean?
Right, but that's to the Christian. Remember, that birth certificate has nothing to do with Muslims. Has to do with she pledged your allegiance to the Christian nation. Now, when you get older, you have the right to void and know that and become, competent and know who you are. But you have to study, you know what I mean? And know that you're a Moroccan subject through treaties and know that you could return. And then, you got the acts of adversaries where you could charge them 12.5% annually.
How do you feel about this guy?
I don't know who that is. I can't say. That's my prophet.
He didn't teach nothing what you saying, bro.
You know what he said?
I know
you
exactly
will do great.
He said. I know exactly.
He said, you will do greater things than me.
That was Jesus.
He said, we are descendants of Moroccans. He never said we were Moorish Americans.
What's the other part, though?
He said, I'm gonna leave the Europeans here long enough to teach you government. Why don't you have a government?
He said we're descendants of Moroccans born in America, right? And
born under the jurisdiction.
Right.
Under the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction changes everything.
Moorish Americans, according to his literature.
So this ain't America, for one.
What is this?
This is Greater Morocco, Al Maghrib. Al meaning greater, and Maghrib meaning.
So if I'm born in Morocco, but they're calling it America, it's not America, it's Morocco.
Well, the only reason why they're calling it America because your mama and your dad didn't read and have government. So they became Americans.
Drew Ali said that these Moors lost their nationality in this government in 1774. So
they got naturalized.
So that kind of means that we were already a part of the government, and that he also says that the reason we lost it. He also states that the reason that we lost it in 1774 is because we honor not our ancestors and we followed after Europe, And Europe is the European concept of humanity is that people are divided.
Right. Well,
So,
we weren't charging. We weren't in government. We were just hanging around the temples and the churches and the old limestone buildings that they call city
bro,
hall buildings now.
bro, I want to be very transparent with you, right? Because I guess you don't recognize my face.
I
Right?
do recognize who you are, brother.
All right,
I know
so
who
you
you
know
are.
that I don't stand for none of this shit you be talking about, right?
I know that.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
We already bumped heads, but my thing is about teaching the people. My thing is not bumping heads with you. You feel me? So I'm gonna always come to
You said
every
that the brother
platform.
Drew was your prophet,
He is
and
our prophet. That is correct.
right, but the prophet is the one. He's the professional. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that we emulate, if you will, in order to become like, right? And everything that you're talking about, Drew Ali makes no. Drew Ali said that right before you came on, right, literally right before you came on.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading one of the Moorish guy newspaper articles, in which he told us that we're not even to be identifying ourselves with niggas in Africa or whatever the fuck them niggas was doing.
So
And
what do you want us to do? You want us to give out turkeys in front of Moorish buildings? It's about separation, brother. We want to have our
he
own
also said
food.
that
Listen,
we're
it's about
supposed to
having
live
our
here
own
together in
food.
harmony, friendship, and goodwill. Drew Ali said in his organizations that there would be no segregation in the temples. He also stated in his divine warning that Jim Crow
How
and
do you want to come
segregation
hand
came
in hand
about
with the folks that
not
are
from the
unaliving us in the
Europeans,
middle of the
but
street?
from the actions of the Moors who are acting as civilized. So Drew Ali never taught segregation. He taught self-sufficiency and interdependence.
For
He didn't
that
teach none of
time.
that shit you just
For that
said.
time. But look what they've done to us. All
But
right,
he's
so
saying
look.
that he's saying that we went out there talking all crazy and acting like, just because I'm just summarizing, because they're pale skinned, they're all bad. Like, he never taught that shit. He never taught that the olive skinned peoples, or he never taught that pale skinned peoples weren't Muslims. He actually gives us a pale skinned prophet. Or just another professional that came in line, succession.
Well, right now, I
Huh?
don't teach that either about hating
But
on
then
white people.
how can you? So you take some of his information, but not all.
I didn't say that either, but we have to advance, brother. He said that you will do greater things than me.
Where do
He
you
said,
say?
I'm going to leave the Europeans here long enough to
Where
teach you government. Where
so
is
you're
our
talking from
government?
oral statements, right, and prophecies and whatnot, right?
Did he not say that, brother?
No, I don't.
You will do greater things than me. That's what he said.
I recall that in the Bible.
He also said,
I recall Drew
I'm
Ali
going to leave the
saying
Europeans here long enough
to
to teach you
imitate
government.
him, so that you were loved even as he is loved. I recall him saying things like, the third, fourth generation will basically, see the good in his behavior and whatnot, and his movement. But and I'm not saying that it's not there. I'm just saying that I have all of the literature that I can find in the public concerning Drew Ali, and I don't see in any of that shit where he himself.
I mean, you got to really understand, brother, right?
Brother, do you
That
understand? You just said
where
does you can't tell me where to find it. I need a source.
Where does that help us with
What do you
decolonization?
mean? You
With
need to
decolonization.
your mind, brother.
Decolonization.
You're following after the gods of Europe, bro.
No, sir. I'm following
Yes, sir.
after Moorish.
Remember, the Moorish Empire was in Europe too, bro.
Yes. So I'm
When
following.
you're
I'm
following
following
after
the
those
Madrid
people, so you know
Convention
what?
of 1880.
We don't want to be all one people. That's Europe. Europe did that. The pale skinned nations of Europe, who were Arabs, who did not wish to be Arab, the creators of Christianity as we see it today, according to chapter 47 in the Circle 7, those were the people who went and say, you know what, dark skin means Muslim, and pale skin means Christian, and that's how we're going to do it. We don't want to be a part of the North African Middle Eastern Union, right? We just want to be our own European thing. And that's what it sounds like you saying. If these niggas ain't, just because they don't look like us, they ain't us. I don't trust niggas that look like me.
For real, I don't either.
Yeah, for real.
We have listen right now in the empire. We detected.
Where is the empire? Where's the headquarters?
The empire. We just detected some nefarious activity.
Where is the headquarters? Can I go to the Moroccan Empire government?
You sure can.
Where is it? What state?
Georgia. It's in Georgia.
So Georgia's
right
in
now.
America, though. Georgia's not in Morocco.
You see, this is where you get it confused.
I'm not confused.
I already told you from the beginning. Anybody that signed the Madrid Convention of 1880 recognized themselves in part in Morocco.
Yeah.
Want to write that down?
What year was that? 17. What did you say? Or 18?
1880. The Madrid Convention of 1880, Article 15. Gives us the right to return back home to the Moroccan Empire, not the kingdom, because the kingdom was created in 1956.
Like the capital, like Egypt had an empire, so we know where the empire was and where it stems from, right? And it's now a quote unquote kingdom. So where's the Moroccan Empire located? Where can I go?
So right now, at this moment, it's located in Georgia. The Sultan is located in Georgia. So, like I was saying previously, we detected some nefarious activity.
Let me interrupt you. Point of order, bro. Like respectfully, I don't give a fuck about nothing you about to say, bro. You're a fraud to me. And,
I mean, we already had this conversation, me and you. Oh, my Sultan's here too. Why don't you let my Sultan come up?
I'll let him. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. This is the nigga that said that Moorish American is not. What's good with you, brother? Hold on. Let me drop you. Let me drop this, brother. What's good with you?
Peace, Noble. Why you drop the other brother?
Because his presentation is crazy.
That's one of my.
He got a lot of hate in his heart. And I'm trying to see if since he really looks up to you and he presents you a lot, I want to see if you're the same way. I recall you. You are. Let me ask. Are you the brother who? There's this media going around. There's a brother. He's got the black fez on, suit and tie, looking real nice, right? He's got a table. He's got boards up, but
right.
That's you?
No, that's not me.
All right, that's what I really want to talk to, because that's the nigga that says something crazy.
No, I'm not him. And we were connected to him. What the brother that you dropped was trying to explain to you is that
I don't care. I've already been through this with the brother.
No, you haven't been through what I'm about to tell you, and it's we're grown-ups. Let's allow me to speak. What he was trying to tell you is that we went through
let me keep it a being with you, man. I might not be the one you want to talk to, because I don't.
Okay, well then, that sounds good. Well then, just drop me, and we can keep it moving. It's fine.
All right, yeah. I'll take that weird ass shit on with y'all, man. I ain't here for that dumb ass shit. So, as I was saying in the beginning, y'all, we have these Moors out here. Particularly the brother who was just not the brother I just dropped, but the brother I dropped before. He's saying, "Hey, we're with Drew Ali," and yet these niggas is out here teaching shit that is radical and agitating to Drew Ali's movement. And everybody, all these niggas, they wanna come up here and teach, but what are they teaching? You can't sit here and say that you follow Drew Ali and then say that you're connected to a nigga that said that your nationality ain't even what it is. You can't say that you rock with Drew Ali and then, say that you're in line with a dude who said they're Moorish Americans and, are lower than Negroes and shit like that. I don't like what? Paseo. Vete pa carajo, cabrón. Fuck out of here, nigga. But yeah, I tried to be courteous, but you have these radicals, right? Now, I don't knock them personally. That's their business. But when they try to use this guy here, right? Whether they think they're Moroccan or Moorish or whatever the case, Anybody using my big brother like that, right? Nah, I'm on your ass. I'm on your ass, man. Bunch of radicals. They don't want to be American citizens. They don't look to be American. And that's just not what I'm on. Are you aware that Noble, I guess that would be Drew Ali. Yeah, I'm absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, it's talk about.
Peace.
Peace, bro. Yeah. I wanted to ask you that in the chat because now, if you're aware, right? If we're all aware, you know that
His movement, you
Ali
mean
was
him, his character, or his movement?
his movement and
Okay.
his movement, and then within his movement, his literature was tampered with. Now, I'm a Moor that traveled and been to temples and know that I've read different literature, and they all are not the same. The 101s are not the same in all the temples, bro.
Okay.
So his work definitely been tampered with, and on top of that, when I got locked up and I found his literature in the game section in the tablets. Now, if you try to use Noble Drew Ali's work in jail, they're gonna say that you are a sovereign citizen.
Yeah. I know.
They got Noble Drew. They got the Prophet's literature in the game section, not in the book section, in the games. And they got his 101s, the entire printed with the seal with even with which we'll call it the first prophet
Muhammad.
Muhammad, yes. You know what I'm saying, with the seal. That was in there too. I seen all that. You know what I'm saying? So good brother is like, if you know that the prophet was infiltrated and his literature was infiltrated, then why not have an open mind to other brothers' perspective?
Do you think that I'm new to this, beloved?
Most certainly not. No, hell no. Nah, definitely not. Nope. I do not.
Do you perhaps believe that I don't have a prior Islamic foundation to this movement?
I'm not challenging anything that you've studied and know. I'm only going off of what I haven't seen.
The two brothers that came up
were
right. They're in connection one with the other.
Mm-hmm.
These niggas don't know shit about true Islam.
Okay.
They don't.
So what is
because they're preaching, they're advocating dissension within humanity, and they are
dissension. You're referring
to humanity. You know, this whole dark races, this, that, and these white people, and you know they done did this, that, and the third. Like they're mixing.
Oh, hold on. Okay. Put an interest. Okay, so you're coming from the standpoint of the good brother L, and how he
the good brother L.
Yeah, good brother L. How he was explaining, you know, kind of how his view is. You know what I'm saying on the race thing or his situation. Now, I get he was probably using his words loosely. Now, I'm not trying to bat for him. I'm not trying to combat for him or nothing like that. But I know the brother, he's very studied as well. But I don't think the way that he presented himself, the way that you took, I don't think he really meant it like that. Even though that's how he did come across. That's how the notion was.
So scholarship, right? When you are a historian or you are a da'i, which in Islam just means one who gives the information, right? You have to tell it like it is.
Facts. Yes, you do.
You have to be very clear. That's why I'm trying to be clear. That's why I let the brother know off rip. You know, I don't really particularly fuck with him. He obviously wasn't watching this. His account came up. I invited him, and we spoke. And then I had to let him know, like, bro, like, because he and we've already spoken in the past. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a clown.
Okay.
All right, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and he doesn't know that this whole segment that we're having right now.
Correct.
Right. It's entitled miseducated people. Right. And when I began this, I began talking about RV Bay, Nintiel Bay, a lot of people who I feel, according to my prior Islamic knowledge and then me coming into this Moorish movement understanding, right?
Right. Right.
That they are all deviating.
Mm.
And this brother speaks with within the same capacity of information, which lets me know that he too and all the other good brothers, them niggas is deviating.
Okay.
So when I invited him up here, it was like literally just after I ended my session, and then it's like, all right, for example, and I put him up here. I just sat here, I don't know for how long before he got on here explaining how Islam and what Jurali brought was supposed to bring humanity together.
Right. No matter the color.
Right. I went through the circle 7 to show that, this is not Morocco. According to this, like all of this, like literally everything that he was touching on, I touched on before he came here.
Okay. Right.
Right. Now, the brother, I'm going to keep it a whole beam with you, brother. I was out here acting stupid, just like that, bro.
Okay.
I was out here with the fez on, the turban on, the feather on, out here asserting that these ideas that I got caught up in.
Right.
That shit is not Islam. I asked the brother, "Are you Muslim?" So what the fuck is we talking about?
Right.
He want to hit me with the shit that I heard from what was it, Valhara? The sister was like running around telling niggas they ain't from Puerto Rico, right? I don't know if you ever seen that, but there was a sister in Philadelphia. She was a part of the Moors Order of the Round Table, so she's a deviant too. But she was talking about how she used to go around telling people, like, you're not Puerto Rican, you're Borinquin, you're Borinqua, from the island of Borincano.
Right.
I hear this nigga talking about, Puerto Rican, people on Puerto Rican. Nigga, they're Puerto Rican. Fuck you mean? What time are you living in? Drew Ali told us we were Moabites. Did you know that the Moabites were not Africans, bro?
Yeah.
All right, so
the Moabites, they're Moroccans. Moabites are Moroccans.
Right. Listen, the Moabites were Asiatics.
Mm-hmm.
They came down into Africa through Egypt. And some of those Moabites settled Morocco and they became Moroccans.
Right. Because they became Moroccans, because then they settled with the Israelites. Then they joined with the Israelites.
Well, so remind you, the Israelites comes out of that same. Everybody's coming out of that Middle Eastern area right there.
Right. Yeah.
The those who call themselves the Israeli, right? They are also of the Canaanite people.
Right.
So again, these are my same language, different dialect, right?
Right. Yeah. That's what separated us, was the dialect.
That's all. Well, that concepts, ideas, and concepts, right?
Yeah. And that too. Yeah.
That brother was acting more along the lines of what I would consider an Israeli, in which they're like, nigga, we better than everybody. It's us. But that's not what Drew Ali taught. That's not what the high priest that Drew Ali learned from, Abdul Hamid Suleiman. That's why I don't know how long you've been on. I asked the brother about, are the people from the Sudan, are they white? And he didn't really want to say yeah, but he had to say yeah. All right, well, the Sudanese, the brother who taught Drew Ali, Muhammad on Freemason, he was a high priest of Egypt. He was the one who organized the old Canaanite temple. Drew Ali didn't organize that. But what I'm saying is, Drew Ali's whole organization was open to everybody. I ain't give a fuck. It didn't matter what your skin tone was. If you believed that humanity was one family, right? Then we can live together in fellowship. We ain't got to be all up I ain't got to be all up under your arm like a young nigga. You know what I'm saying? But I can salute you from across the street.
Right. Now, point of interest.
Go right ahead.
Then was in his literature also too that there was ones that looked like us but wasn't us, and he called them the dirty Moors, and they're both on both sides of being British or European in descent and of us.
So that whole dirty Moor thing is relevant to Islamic practice. To be dirty means that you have not performed ghusl, right? Ablution, which means that you are impure. You're in an impure state. You're not equitable, right? So anyone who's not dealing equitably, instead of calling him a nigga, you call him dirty Moor,
Right.
right? But that had, what was the other part? Because that had nothing to do with other people. He was talking about us particularly. He was, as Muslims, if you were to call me a dirty Muslim, that's like saying that I tried to go to prayer without offering ghusl, without cleaning myself. I came
Hold on,
to
pause.
the temple or the altar, if you will.
Hold on,
Impure.
pause though. Hold on, pause though. Because if the prophet came to bring everybody together in unity, then in the statement that he would make to say that they are dirty Moors being in their performance and in equity, it really doesn't matter what their skin color is. A dirty Moor is a dirty Moor, but he knew that they were
That is
getting
very
worked on
true.
both. You know what I'm saying? So there were dirty Moors on both sides, and there's a picture where he's like sitting in a room with books under a table, and there's like a flag upside down behind
Yes,
him,
yes.
and he's basically saying and like silently that they're passing the knowledge under the table. And then he has his hand, and then he has a certain hand up saying, letting us know that it's on the right side, the evil, that they're on the right. You know what I'm saying?
Equity is on the right. Absolutely. Islam is on the right. Absolutely.
Right. So he was letting us know that the dirty Moors are in the Islamic movement.
Yeah, period. The dirty Moor. So Drew Ali used the term Moor, right? Interchangeably with Mohammedans, in a prophet's historical message, Moorish leader's historical message to America, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Drew Ali was letting it be known not only the dark skinned Moors, right, but all of these Muslims, right? You had to watch yourself,
Right.
which I believe is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
But it all dealt with the Muslim aspect. So
Right,
whether it was a dark skinned Muslim or a pale skinned Turkish Muslim, prime example of Drew Ali telling us to be careful and watch these niggas. David Ford L, who became Master Farad Muhammad. He was a
Right.
Turkish Muslim.
Right.
They had the flag of Turkey upside down. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So and he was one of the he was in the movement. Elijah was in the movement. Not saying that they were just in the movement, because at that time, when all of this information was being disseminated, our people, particularly the so-called Negroes, we were jumping to every organization we possibly could to gain some type of benefit.
Facts. I already know that because that's just still happening now.
Mm-hmm. So what Drew Ali did was he brought all of those concepts to a centralized core, to a core.
Right.
Right. That's why he said that we honor all divine prophets, meaning as long as you come in and you honor, just like Freemasonry, because Drew Ali is teaching Muhammadan Freemasonry.
Yeah. Mohammedan law. Yeah. Yep. I'm aware of Mohammedan.
Right.
Because now I got a thing where like, because now Freemason and being a Freemason and being a Mason, in my world, in my mind, those are two different beings, two different actions.
I was just asked by a brother today. He's on Facebook. I made some statements about some people on the post, so he desired to, see what I'm about. And he asked me, "Am I a Mason?" And I told him, "No, I'm not a Mason, because according to the Masons, they are widows' sons, and according to chapter 1, Allah is the husband." You follow?
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not a Mason. I'm not a mom's son. I'm not the son of a widow, because Allah is the father. And I am my father are one. So no, I don't deal with speculative Freemasonry. I don't deal with the concept of Freemasonry as presented by those who have a Christian foundation.
Okay. All right. Or
I recognize Freemasonry. It just means children of the light. which are thoughts of Allah, right? If Allah is the light and we're thoughts of Allah, then we're nothing more than children of the light.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. You know what I mean?
That makes us angels, because angels and angels of light are angels.
Right. Drew Ali even made mention of, he told us who are also angels, right? Because again, you got a lot of Moors out here who think that Drew Ali, like, it's one thing when I say I'm a prophet and I get all the bullshit, but if I say I'm an angel, now they really, some of the higher degree, they really gonna shit their pants and shit. I'm like, hold on. In the questionnaire, Drew Ali told us, are the Moorish Americans of any relation to those angels? He said those angels were called Asiatics, that they had olive skin. He was talking about the Middle Easterners, bro.
All right.
Right. So I showed a picture of, at the time, he was to Mecca what Ibn Saud is to Mecca today.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And hold on, I'll show you the picture. And in this, it's a newspaper article. I'm a researcher, bro. This is what I does, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a newspaper article, right? The brother's name is Gavrona Ali Mustafa Abdullah. His real name is Ali Ibn Hussein, right? That's him with the shamah on, all right? Now, this is a Moroccan prince, right? And you see these with another brother who got the fez on. They both have olive skin, right? Or pale skin, whatever.
Yeah.
It says here, here, fuck it, I'll do it this way so that you can read along with, right? Gavrona Ali Mustafa Abdullah, admittedly a Moroccan prince and an organizer of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. So he was there in the beginning. This is an angel that we're looking at. That's one of the angels Drew Ali was talking about.
Right.
Another one was what was the brother? Aziz Abdul what was it? Abdul Karim Al Khattab, which was he was a Moroccan, just like that brother, right? He was the leader of the Rift Wars between Morocco and France. Are you familiar with that information?
Nah. This a little bit of this is a little new to me.
Right. So there was a war going on in which Morocco was gaining back their independence. All right, and there was a brother known as the leader of the Rift Wars, and you'll see that in this newspaper article that this brother says that he was a fucking major in that. Says I hold the rank of major in the Rift Army. Right, that was another brother who was an organizer for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science.
Okay.
All right, he was known in our mood as Karim L, but it's Krim and then EL. So when I first learned of it, I thought it was Krim, massive holiday. But when I did my research, it's Karim. So we have Moroccan, already a palish skin, right? Who there's supposedly a statement, a narration where Robbie says that he was given, this attire by the government.
Right.
I would imagine that he got it, that it represents the royal prince. Now he already had a Moroccan prince in his own, in his organization as an organizer. Someone helping him put it together.
Right.
Now, I would imagine, right? I can't speak on it because I don't know, but I would imagine. And I showed that brother that picture, he'd say, yeah, it was one of the Arabs that stole from us.
All right, so I got the next question. I got another question. What do you think the Prophet meant when he said he was going to leave the Europeans here long enough to teach his government?
That we should not only observe them, as a matter of fact, I got you. Boom. All right, so I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to give you from his own words. This is a newspaper article called Demanding Hours, right?
Yep.
He says and I'm just going to read the top part because it speaks right to what you said, right? The idea inculcated in the purposes of the Moorish Temple of America is to have everything that belongs to us as a nation that has become a part of another nation, just the same as all other European groups are doing. So I would imagine that he was telling us to look, observe, and to pick up on what they're doing so that we could do it for ourselves the same. I'm going to leave them here long enough to teach you how to run government so that you could become a part of this government in union with the Europeans. Those who follow the law, those who do not follow the constitutional law, those are the ones he said will be heading back home.
Okay, now check this out. Now, boom. Have you read Missouri's Constitution?
I have not, but I can.
I think you should read Missouri's Constitution. Okay, so the first two paragraphs, excuse me, and then like the beginning of like their body, the body. And I kind of got them posted on my page. Hold on.
Good thing I don't watch sports.
All right, so boom. All right, so the Missouri's Constitution basically will fill in what your statement, because now I thought too for a long time that the Prophet wanted us to integrate with the Europeans government too, but he did, but not join like in their offices.
Right,
Like,
because under the Constitution, every group of people they can do their own things, right? Just as long as it doesn't interfere with another's jurisdiction.
Right. But
it's
okay,
like,
so
we can all be Americans, but we can't, as Muslims particularly, because when he's speaking of certain Europeans, he's talking about the Roman Catholic.
Exactly,
Right.
because even the Jews, the ones that say that they're Jews, they're not really Jews. They wear the yarmulkes because that's the signal. That's the signal. That's the symbolism of them still being owned by the Roman Empire.
I've heard something to that effect.
That's the truth. That's the truth, because remember they've been destiny swapping. They take our symbols and signs, and then a lot of our symbols and signs are in a bigger picture, but they just take.
Who are you referencing?
Melanated. Us being the original, us that come, you know what I'm saying? If you got melanin, you're from the original people, you know what I'm saying? And you're in those territories that's being politically enslaved.
Do you believe that Drew Ali was saying that all European nations and shit are on Christianity?
No, heck no. No, not they're all not all of them are on that. Not all of them is on that. No.
It is my understanding that Drew Ali was trying to get us back into the fold so that we would have our own representation in government just like all other nations.
Right, exactly.
Not necessarily saying, hey, y'all got to get the fuck out. It's like, no, y'all gonna let us the fuck in.
Okay, so from my standpoint, I wouldn't look at it as them letting us in, because through my endeavors, I done represented myself in court on B court. I didn't use no paperwork. I just have really good comprehension of the law, and I can recite it very well. And I use their court of records as my court of records, and by the transcripts and stuff like that. But however, me knowing that I've utilized law that got me out of situations where they've honored me because I didn't argue, I wasn't combative, and I used the correct foundation of law. I didn't confuse.
It's universal law. It is applicable to all people, particularly all Americans. You knew it, so you were not one of the commoners, and they honored you for that because you were one with the people. They know the law. They know the life, and they were able to see the life and honor.
Right, and they let me go, like, for real. So
right.
It's like,
not because you're more, but because you're a true American, right? And you know that you are equal to all other Americans, regardless of whatever backgrounds they come from. because America is the melting pot.
Yeah, as they say. And I didn't cling onto any titles. I said that I was just a flesh and blood man on the land, and I was under Allah's law on the land.
Boom. So once you threw up all law, that's a whole new trust law. You know what I mean? Under the Constitution, all religious institutions must be administrated lawfully and appropriately according to their religious terms, because religion is trust law, right? So once you set all law, you shifted it out. You shifted.
Yeah, I brought the sheriff out.
That too. You know what I mean?
But the sheriff came and dismissed my case.
Oh, there you go. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful to know. But what you're saying has nothing to do with what them niggas was just on here saying.
No, right, but I only brought that up because I'm showing the perspective that when one comes correct, they do honor you.
And that's all Drew Ali was trying. Again, I'm gonna leave these niggas here long enough for y'all to live a life accordingly.
What's up, Bob?
You feel me?
Yeah.
If you were to read a divine warning by the prophet for the nation, in context, you'll realize that he's not only is he not speaking to Moorish Americans, he's speaking about them to other Americans, but that he's saying like what applies to you all applies to us too, and he's telling these people, please help me teach these niggas that. Jurali was like, if the Greeks, Italians, English, Arab, Turk, Japanese, and Chinese, etc., are forced to proclaim their nationality and religion, right? Is that what he's telling us to do? Before the constitutional government of the United States of America, then it is no more than right that law should be applied to all other American citizens alike. And he named European nations and Middle Eastern nations, and said all other American citizens alike, as North African nations, all being white, equal. Remember, God means white means purity. Purity means God. So white means God.
Right. Yep. Yep. I already know that. I knew that.
Right. So Drew Ali was like, look. He even says, them niggas is helping me. He said that if the Europeans and other nations is helping me, why not y'all? This nigga problem is for y'all niggas.
Fact.
This again, in the divine warning, he's saying that we are sinning. We missed our mark, because to sin means to miss your mark, right? So we missed our mark basically by running around and allowing ourselves to not be identified as equal on this motherfucking land with the rest of the people. Nothing about Drew Ali's literature even suggests minutely, not even a grain of a mustard seed, that we are to be ejecting people out of the land, or or believing that we're even in Morocco. I don't even know where that concept comes from.
Well, see this. Okay, so boom, in Indiana, right? So the 101s in Indiana, those
Morocco,
101s.
Indiana.
No, Fort Wayne.
Okay.
Now, those 101s say that the Moabites were Moroccans, and we were descendants of the Moabites, but it said, what's your nationality? Moorish American. When I read that was confusing to me, because I'm like, wait, how can you be more Moroccan and American? Because I already had knowledge of
Irish Americans.
Huh?
What about the Irish Americans and the Scottish Americans?
Okay, they're all British. Those are companies.
But they are descendants of Ireland and descendants of Scotland, born in America.
But we're the original Scottish.
So
if you go to
you're hanging on the skin complexion thing.
Well, we
Okay. Are you familiar with Muammar Gaddafi?
Yes.
He was a Libyan, right?
Yes, yes,
He was a pale-skinned nigga, wasn't he?
yes. He was. Yes, he was.
And he was from North Africa.
Yes. But brother, do you know? But are you also aware that there, even though there's pigmentation of people of races of people that look similar, we are not genetically the same?
Let me ask you this, because maybe are you Muslim?
I am. I am Muslim, not Muslim, but Muslim. I listen. I only say that because I follow the order of the Bible.
To you because I feel like you're genuine right now, right, brother? What language does Muslim come from? See, I know the answer.
Islam. I would say
I'm
Islam.
asking you though, because you said you're not Muslim, you're Muslim.
Yeah, Muslim. Yeah.
What is the difference?
The difference is okay. So the one with the U, those will be like the Arabs, and then the one with, and then like so Muslim with the O, meaning like complete. You know what I'm saying? Is a complete cipher. You know what I'm saying? And that would be us because we're loving. We're in those five principles.
Both spellings come from the same land, mass,
Okay.
and it is no different than me saying to a Jamaican, "Yeah, I'm about to go home," and they're like, "Yeah, man, what? Me want to go to the yard too."
Right.
It's the same concept.
Right.
So the term Muslim, if you say it like that, that's a no-go from the jump. If you go to any ancient language and you say Muslim, not Muslim, but Muslim, that word means detestable, deceitful, disrespectful, not liked. But in America, particularly during those early 1900s, that was the English equivalent to what the Asiatics say today as Muslim. There is no difference. The only difference, and the pronunciation, even in and of itself, people are, I feel, according to my own understanding, when we say Muslim, we are corrupting the term Salam.
So so if there's a difference, how are you saying there's no difference in the same sentence?
I'm telling you there is no difference. You're saying there's a difference. I'm saying that the pronunciation.
Right, the pronunciation makes a difference. You're saying.
Right. So if you're saying Muslim, I'm a Muslim. You're saying that you ain't shit. If I'm a Muslim, I'm Muslim. Or if I greet you, masalam, like my shalom with Hebrew, right? I'm not saying you're detestable.
Okay.
In my limited research, this is limited, right? But I found out that the term Muslim was used in the 1600s here in America, but that later on the MOSLEM became the used rendering for that same word, and then by the let's say 50s or 60s maybe, the MU began to be used again in place of the MOSLEM because of how people are saying Muslim. And those who
so you agree that the O was first? Is that what you're saying, right? You're saying that the O for Muslim.
It's Aramaic.
Yeah, all this is Aramaic. All this is, you know what I'm saying, a Semitic. I'm not Semitic.
So, Masalam, Mashalom, Muslim. These all mean the same thing, just in different dialects, brother.
Right. Yeah. I know. I definitely get phonetics.
And really, a Muslim or a Muslim, that ideology, it just means creditor.
Okay.
Right. One who's perfected in Allah. Allah is the law. I'm perfected in the law. My lower, my higher, my debtor, my creditor. You know what I mean? Right. Exactly. I'm balanced. I'm on the level, as Freemasons would say.
Right. Exactly. Yes. That's on point. Yes. Exactly.
Right. So when people assert that, and mind you, I'm someone who used to do this until again my older studies start kicking in. It's like, yeah, no, this shit ain't right. But I've been around. I've been a person. I'm a Muslim. I'm Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. I am a Muslim. I can be Muslim. I can even be Muslim, which is what I think. I think that's how they were saying it back then. Muslim became Moslem.
Right.
And it went from Muslim to Muslim.
Right.
I've heard Elijah Muhammad say speak like a down south nigga speak. Muslim.
Right.
And the Muslims, Muslim, again, it can mean the same thing, but when you hear it with someone who has an Arabic ear, or a Middle Eastern ear, it's like, oh no. As a matter of fact, here's a perfect example. I can't remember the movie, right? Funny as shit though. There was a man and his wife in the car, and they had to be somewhere in Europe. And there were two officers that stopped them, right? And they would talk or whatever. And the one brother says, he's talking about the key to happiness. You ever heard that?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So the key to happiness, he says, the key to life is happiness in your asshole.
What the fuck?
But what he was saying is the key to life is happiness in your household.
Right.
Happiness in your household. What?
Right. Yeah.
So saying happiness in your household would be like us saying Muslim. It's like the people who know what you're saying ain't catching it.
Right. Yeah.
It sound like something, but it ain't what it sound like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of mistranslations that happen, man. Seriously.
When people say, "Oh, Muslim is an ancient form," I'm like, "Well, show me other ancient Arabic forms that Drew Ali used, because he used Allah, he used Islam, he used Muhammad." You know what I mean? So show in Aramaic, it's not Allah, it is Allah. Right? Little things, right?
Yeah, the little thing. Yeah, the little pronunciation.
So if Muslim was supposed to mean something different, explain to me Bey. Explain to me Ali.
Right.
Explain to me Allah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Drew Ali he wasn't trying to, knowing his information, can I see that he was trying to say that, the term Muslim meant something different. Right. And the only difference between the Moorish American Muslims and mainstream Muslim is that we're Sufi.
Yeah, I was getting into Sufi.
We deal with the inner
interpretation. Right, exactly.
So we are the mystics.
Yes.
And Shia Ali ibn Talib, radiallahu anhu, which is the cousin and the cousin and brother-in-law, right, of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? He's the fourth caliph, right? He is known by all Sufis who know as the father of Sufism, in which he was basically saying that whatever Muhammad was bringing was on this type of acknowledgement, as opposed to the three other caliph before them that were keeping the nigga ignorant, keeping the people ignorant. And of course, Drew Ali, he chose Ali. I'm Shia to Ali. I am a Shia Muslim. Shia means party. Shiatul Ali means party of Ali. So our only difference is that we deal with Sufism. We don't look to the sky for Allah. We look within for Allah.
Exactly.
Now, if the only thing that I could possibly connect with the misassertion of Muslim to being different is that they're attempting to say that Muslim references the Sufis. That's the only thing in my mind that I could possibly, try to say, well, how is this relative one to the other? But in reality, they're not relative in that manner. The only difference between us as Muslims and these other brothers and sisters is that we deal with things within, but we follow the same information or we follow the same foundation. Even the Quran of Mecca was tampered with by the third Caliph, Uthman, who took it out of the Hijazi script and put it into what we know of today.
So do you think that the temples?
Huh?
So aside from that, right? So I want to go back to the original subject, right? And with my original question. So and that was the prophet said that's actually my second question. The prophet said he'll leave the Europeans he'll leave the Europeans
Going to leave the Europeans here long enough to teach you how to run a government.
Right. So my question to piggyback off of that, do you think that the temples are running them like governments, or like how do you see the temples are being used? Do you think the temples are being used in that way?
I don't believe that the temples are being used the way that Jurali expected them to.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah. Because I don't see that
away
either.
from the temple. The way that I spoke to the other brothers, I speak to the Moors inside the temple the same way.
Right.
I don't feel like, they're really carrying out. And that's another thing, just to pick camel back off of that. Drew Ali said, listen to the Europeans. I'm gonna make them tell the truth.
Yo, my goodness, and they are right. Yo, they are.
Right now, the nigga, and I love that nigga. I love what he stands for. Character aside, I love what he stands for. Right, the peacemaker, Donald Trump.
Yo, Donald Trump, man.
He
definitely bringing the walls of Jericho down.
Peacemaker, bro.
Yeah, people don't understand that he put an order back.
What is a Muslim?
Say that again.
What is a Muslim? Is a peacemaker. So I look at the principles, the shit that he be saying. I'm like, yo, you trying to usher in true Islamic foundation.
Facts.
Not that agitating radical shit that we see from even the mainstream Muslims. Right? That's why he has a ban on foreign Muslims coming here until we can figure out what the fuck's going on. And this is another reason why Drew Ali told us, to watch the Europeans, because they're going to teach us how to run government, because we should already be those people in government representing the Muslims, so that we can say, hey, you know what?
Right.
Them niggas ain't right.
So what do you think? Okay, so the two brothers that you kicked off, because they're coming with decolonization, and they follow Prophet too, but they're bringing in the government side. So what do you think as the title we should be carrying to carry on a government? Because even in
national citizen, you should definitely be recognized as a national citizen, meaning a card carrying U.S. passport holder.
Hold on, pause, bro. You can't be a national and a citizen, because under international law, a citizen is someone that either leaves their country and works abroad, or they lose their citizenship and they're and they get adopted.
Brother, have you ever looked? Do you have a passport?
Yes.
So your nationality is USA, right? Meaning you're in America, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Where's your birthplace?
Here.
I don't know where here is.
The States.
Missouri?
No. CT.
Connecticut?
Yeah.
All right, there's your citizenship right there, bro. Birthright citizenship. So you are a national and a citizen.
Right, because the birth. I wouldn't per se be the citizen, because citizens are considered the corporations. But I am in possession of a citizen, which is my birth certificate. That's my company. The business name. The business name is the citizen, not me, not the man per se, but it's the business name.
So Noble Drew Ali's citizen was named Noble Drew Ali. Are you saying he was not Noble Drew Ali?
No. Noble Drew Ali's birth name on his birth certificate was Timothy.
No, it wasn't. You never seen that. You ain't never seen
I definitely didn't, but I was told, not that I was told, but
Thomas Drew, and he was born not in North Carolina, but right there on the borderline of Norfolk, Virginia, 1411.
See, now this is new. Now this is new information. Now you telling me this. Now what I was told I was told something totally different. That's what I'm saying. COINTELPRO, man. Like, see, I still have
So
false information. This shit is
check it
wild.
right. Drew Ali supposedly in one of the narrations, the oral statements, Drew Ali is believed to have told the people that I did not tell you where I was born or who my parents were, because I did not wish for you to make over my birthplace, right, as a shrine, or to make over.
Wow, wait, hold on, Paul. I'm sorry. I gotta
Good.
pause you because you just hit a memory bank because, bro, like, not for nothing. I didn't read that he said he wasn't telling us where he's from, but I did. Either I read it or I heard it that he didn't expose who his parents was. So it was like my
Right.
critical thinking should have been like, wait, if he didn't expose his parents, then how the heck do we know everything? How do we know where he was born?
Now,
Or like,
now remember, he only did this because the people at that time were superstitious as hell.
right.
All right, so I've done my research. I have found registration cards, census papers, all kinds of shit associated with him being from North Virginia, bro, or Norfolk, Virginia.
Wow.
For a fact, like for a
I
fact.
believe you. I believe you because when I first came into this Moorish American movement, man, I was lit. I was good with bread. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo, when I found out who the prophet was, I'm like, I done came across this man's picture mad times, didn't even know who he was, and he done did this for me. He was doing this. I'm like, damn, like, why I didn't know about him when I was 18 years old? Why I gotta find out about him when I'm 24?
Can I tell you something? When this movement was brought to my attention, and he was brought to my attention, my first intention was to find the truth, right? And I've definitely done that. But I came into this movement to destroy him.
Oh, wow.
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 So,
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
hold on, man. But what I realized is that it wasn't him I came to destroy. People were using his name in vain.
right.
So
Facts.
when I actually started to study him, I'm like, oh, I see Islam. I see the connection of foundational Islam succinctly, right? And I'm able to. That's why I'm able to call. I'll call people out. Taj, all of them. Y'all niggas.
Yeah, they wildin'. Yeah, they not. You want to put with that? That's a fact. That's a fact. I've been peeped that.
But when I came into this movement, that's who I was listening to. And I'm like,
Me
so
too.
the person who brought me to this movement, they were studying for like a year before me, right? They knew that I had Muslim background, right? They themselves had never heard. They were never exposed to Islam in any capacity prior to this, right? And he told me, "Oh yeah, man, this is the group that like this is the group that birthed the Nation of Islam." Now I'd already been a part of it, and I already, before they had even brought that to me, I already look at the Nation of Islam as black Christians who say Islam to try to distinguish themselves from their white Christian counterparts.
Facts.
That's it.
That's it.
So I'm like, oh well, if this movement ushered in that movement, then this ain't nothing but another dumbass black nigga movement. And so I came in there charging.
Facts. You
Man,
definitely did with that statement.
I've been at the lowest point, so I know that as I'm rising, I'm
Facts. Yeah.
I was talking bad on this man, yo, in the name of other people.
Wow.
And now so when the brother who came on with the flag, that fake ass flag, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like, he followed him. That's when I was like, oh, I'm about to dig in your ass because I know you don't. I know you don't. I know he doesn't. I know they don't.
Right.
They pick and choose.
Facts. Yeah. Yep.
See, I didn't come to pick and choose. I wanted to know it all. So for a long time, I was getting filtered information. You know, you get shit from RV Bay. They've only got a certain amount of information.
Facts. Yeah.
I was dealing with what's them niggas down in Norfolk, Virginia. Moorish American National Government. Them niggas got filtered information.
Yup, yes they do.
Yeah,
yep.
man, Moore's got filtered information. I'm like, yo, you know, all these niggas got filtered. And so when I took it upon myself to find as much information in the public that I can attribute to Drew Ali as possible. I put it in here. This is all of his public. This is the Circle 7, 101s, Divine Constitution, additional bylaws, supreme laws, the oral statements, and there's 48 newspaper articles from the Moorish Guide newspaper.
Yeah, I only read one of them, and one of them, bro, I only read one of those, bro. And the only reason why I found it is because I looked up an old title of a newspaper. They used to call newspaper tabloids or tabloid. So when I looked up the tabloid of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, one of those newspaper came up, and it was a speech to the Europeans asking them, you know what I'm saying? Real talk. But what's the thing though? I'm gonna send it to you real quick. Hold on. Yeah, hold on real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come right back up.
No problem. So I'm all for the good bills, man. Wait a moment for this brother to come through. It's good, be smooth. So for all of you who are listening while the brother is gathering his information, tap that like button, tap that heart button, tap that screen, share this shit out. All right, whatever the case may be. So again, while I'm waiting for that brother to come in, I'm just letting you all know, me personally, I don't associate or affiliate with any current organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America because, according to my observation, they are out of order. I try my best to show respect to people who claim to be in the leadership capacity over other people, right? I try my best to be respectful. Yet when I hear what I know is trash, I'm going to air it out, and I would appreciate it if anyone is able to take the information that I present and find some any misguidance, bring that shit to my attention too. Because I'm not here to look cool, and I'm not here to be. I'm not here to assert that my knowledge is better than anybody's. I'm here for the truth. So I'm willing to correct myself if I can be shown where I'm wrong. That's all I really look for in people. All right. I don't know who that is. Man. But yeah, so there are people out here who are attempting to misguide, and it's due to their ineffective scholarship. People get a hold of this information and they go on about their own ways, and then they attempt to attribute their misguidance to Drew Ali. And again, I came into this movement looking to disprove the brother, and I realized in my own within my own findings that it's not him that's out here misguiding. It's these people that are misguiding in his name and in his movement. Whether you're a sheik of a temple or whatever you are, if you bring up Drew Ali, I'm going to hold you to it. You know, I will expose the lies. Can't be out here talk about Drew Ali, this, that, and the third, and then talk about shit that Drew Ali ain't talking about. Never alluded to. Never. It's just not, that's not right. You know what I mean? Debating Moorish science, ask about historical facts. Hey, I like it. Showing me that they're hanging on every word that I'm presenting. But it's all cool. Man. I'm really trying to hold on for the brother, but if he don't come back soon enough, I'm going to close out. You can definitely find the recap to this and more on our YouTube channel. The link is in the bio. Professor Davis L. Just a little bit about myself real quick. Like I told the brother, I've had an Islamic background since 2001. And 10 years later, I came into this information about the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Divine National Movement. So that's well over, that's 24 years that I've been exposed to Islam personally. And I am 43. So that's more than half my lifespan that I've been familiar with not only Islam, that was the start, but with many Eastern philosophies. And again, it hurt my heart to be out here watching these brothers and sisters do shit and have all these other people, all these other Americans looking at us as a whole, like whatever one does, they all do. And that don't even be it. You know what I mean? That shit bothers the fuck out of me. That I'm aware that there was a time when the fez and the turban and all of these things, when worn by our people, were respectable. But nowadays, if you put a fez on and you have a skin complexion that's considered black, and you're from America, all of a sudden now you're just a part of some cult. There's no respect. And again, it's because people are out here misinforming other people. You know, Drew Ali said, your will, your way, man. But your way is wrong. That's what he said. Drew Ali never taught. And by the way, Drew Ali is teaching it is the redemption manual. It is the secure party creditor manual. It is the sovereign nation, sovereign state citizen as a nation. It is all of that. But it is all of that in perfection. It's not distorted. And a lot of these people are distorting his information. They're mixing doctrine, and they're misguiding people. Drew Ali was never teaching that you're not a citizen. Drew Ali wanted us to understand that we do commerce through our citizens as citizens. Shit, Drew Ali did 18 months in a federal institution after being convicted of practicing medicine without a license. And once he got out, what did he do? He went and he established his business, got licenses, and began to properly, dispense his tonics and medicines through his organization. Drew Ali didn't say, "Oh, nobody's supposed. I don't have to have a license." That shit is crazy. I don't have to have a license. I'm a man on the land. That's a European common law. That's what Noble Drew would consider following after the gods of Europe, of whom you know nothing. That is not Islamic law. This concept of owning by yourself, as opposed to giving all that you can in the cause, in the universal cause of uplifting Allah. Allah being the moral compass in us all. We got other groups of Muslims who look down on the Moorish Divine and National Movement. Again, because we've got people out here running around and they're just not as informed as they should be. And they've got this altered concept of Islamic Freemasonry. Out here telling people they need to go back to Europe. What? If they got to go back to Europe, your silly ass got to go back to North Africa. They tell you go back to where you came from. Inherently, we don't come from America. We came here. We came here along with the Europeans and Middle Easterners, Asians. We established what is America today. We had children that up under that pact, All right, well, I think I've given the brother enough time. Unfortunately, he has not returned. And so with that, I am going to, I'm going to leave. As always, I appreciate you. Wait a minute, is he still in there? I don't know why I was doing that. Let me see. Oh, there's only one individual viewing them. All right, well, it says 3 though. Well, anyway, I'm just your brother, man. Come to show you a way. Appreciate you all for coming. And I will talk with you all later. Peace and love.